Also mentioned an attack on schoolgirls near Tokyo, saying America grieves for the victims. Fox's Simon Owen details what happened live.
Dave, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe calling the attack a harrowing incident. Officials saying a man carrying a knife in each hand and shouting, "I will kill you," attacked a group of schoolgirls and adults lined up at a bus stop in the city of Kawasaki. This woman saying she saw white shirts turning crimson as people collapsed. 2 people are dead and 16 injured. It's thought the attacker was captured but died after turning a knife on himself. Dave?
This is Fox News.
Gray skies, 68 degrees, and we've had even more rain overnight. 5:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. Cleanup is underway after severe storms hit the Chicago area and northwest Indiana. On Memorial Day, rain, hail, high winds causing damage in the region yesterday, including downed trees and power lines in Naperville. National Weather Service says a tornado did touch down near the Illinois-Indiana border just east of Sauk Village. No injuries have been reported from the storm or damage. Strong winds did cause a gas station canopy to collapse. In Alsip, many streets were flooded on Chicago's south side and in Oak Lawn. Weather Service says nearly 2 inches of rain fell in under an hour in some parts. And storm teams with the National Weather Service are confirming 3 small tornadoes tore through Champaign County. Yesterday, officials said all 3 tornadoes were EF1s and touched down in Champaign and on the south side of Urbana. A person is dead after being shot by Joliet police. They investigate this morning after officers were called out yesterday on a report of a domestic battery in progress in the 1200 block of Justice Lake Drive. Police entered the home that was on fire, found an offender armed with a handgun and holding a hostage. The suspect shot at the officers before one officer shot back, killing the suspect. 3 officers and the hostage were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Authorities continue investigating after a deadly paddle boat accident in Arlington Heights. Police say a paddle boat flipped over yesterday, sending a 44-year-old man and another adult and 2 young children into Lake Terramere. The 44-year-old was hospitalized, where he later died. Children and another adult did not require additional medical treatment. No one is in custody following a deadly triple shooting overnight on Chicago's northwest side. Police say 2 men and a woman were walking early this morning on the 606 trail in the 1800 block of North Monticello when 3 unknown males approached. Suspects asked for gang affiliations before shooting them and then running off. One of the men died at the scene. The woman is hospitalized in very critical condition. The 3rd victim is in stable condition. At 5:04 this morning, new Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot spent Memorial Day appearing at community events and joining police at crime scenes.
I wanted to understand what had happened. I wanted to be there and present for the people in the community that were gathered. And I also wanted to show support for our officers who are out there investigating.
After flooding the streets with 1,200 additional officers, violence still filled the streets of Chicago with nearly 40 shot over the holiday weekend, 5 killed. The Illinois House, by a slim margin, 2 votes to spare, has put a graduated income tax proposal on the ballot in November of 2020. In a 73-44 vote split along party lines, the House has voted to approve the measure. Lawmakers debating 3.5 hours, mostly under the cover of darkness and away from cameras, before it came to a vote. Republicans provided evidence from other states that it will chase wealthy individuals out of the state and kill jobs. Democrats claimed it would level the playing field in terms of state income taxes. Governor Pritzker had claimed his gambit would cut taxes for 97% of taxpayers in the state, but has since backed off those misleading claims. Authorities are investigating after a concealed carry card holder shot an armed man on the southwest side. Police say a 25-year-old was walking into an apartment alley in the 2500 block of South California. when a 20-year-old approached and took out a handgun. The older man pulled out his own gun and shot the other man. The shooter was unhurt and showed off responding officers valid firearms ownership cards and concealed carry licenses. It's another sign that summer is finally here. The Illinois Department of Public Health has confirmed the first West Nile positive mosquitoes in the state in DuPage County. Thousands of tourists coming into the state on I-94 from Chicago and Indiana will need to find a new place to stop in Michigan if they need a break just over the border. If you're traveling to West Michigan, you may want to pay attention. Michigan Department of Transportation officials are closing the new Buffalo Welcome Center for a month. Closure starts next Monday and runs through June 28 to allow MDOT crews to rebuild ramps in and out of that very critical facility, especially if you're traveling with young children. Garrett Cole struck out a dozen in 6 innings as the Astros survive a shaky ninth to beat the Cubs 6-5 in Houston. Cubs have lost 4 of 5. Sox and Royals will play a game and a half today at Guaranteed Rate Field. Their Memorial Day game was suspended after rain delays. Wolves are heading into the AHL Calder Cup Finals for the first time since 2008, beating San Diego 3-1. Charlotte is up next. Bruins skate over the Blues in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals in Boston, 4-2. The 2019 NCAA Baseball Championship bracket is out. And if you're a baseball fan, especially of college baseball, you're in luck. UCLA Bruins earned the top seed overall and will serve as one of 16 regional hosts in the 64-team tournament. But there are 5 Big Ten teams in, including Illinois. And look who's in with the Fighting Illini, Illinois State and UIC. The news, a service of Sprint. Hey, guys. See how you can get an unlimited plan with one of the newest phones included for one low price. Visit your local Sprint store, sprint.com, or call 800-SPRINT-1 to learn how you can switch to a Sprint unlimited plan today. 5:08, a check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
News, opinion, insight.
They broke the deal. They can't do that, so they'll be paying. We don't make the deal.
What happens next happens here.
The special counsel's finding is clear. Case closed.
That's just not a fact. The case is not closed.
These stories and more are changing by the minute. Check in 2, 3, 4 times each day for the latest.
If they do anything, it would be a very bad mistake.
This is AM 560. The Answer.
Message and data rates may apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, this may be the last time you ever have to worry about hair loss. Because Bosley is the real deal. They're giving women and men their hair back permanently. Their real hair. All it takes to get started is a single text message. You'll get an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card when you text TRUST to 85850. Bosley will show you, for free, how great your hair could look. You'll also see, for free, why you're losing hair and how to get it back. Women and men all over the country trust Bosley because they're America's #1 hair restoration expert, ahead of the curve with the latest technology. And the best part? Bosley has permanent solutions to hair loss. You'll love what they'll do for your hair. So drop what you're doing long enough to send a text. Get your free information kit and gift card for $250 off by texting TRUST to 85850. Don't forget, that's TRUST to 85850.
If you own a business, you'll do everything you can to keep the lights on. The thing is, keeping those lights on can be much more cost-effective than you ever imagined, and Twin Supplies can help. Twin Supplies specializes in helping businesses, public entities, and nonprofits get energy efficient with their lighting and take advantage of incentives from utility companies to help with energy improvement costs. From restaurants to schools, churches, and stadiums, they'll walk you through every step to realize maximum money savings in energy efficiency. Your maintenance staff will spend less time changing bulbs with worry-free fixtures that feature up to a 10-year warranty. Plus, the quality of your lighting will improve, resulting in better and safer working conditions. Find out how much your commercial business or public sector facility can save with a free energy audit from Twin Supplies. Utility companies change their incentives frequently and funds can run out. Now is the time to take action. Don't wait. Call them directly at 708-609-0784 or log on to twinsupplies.net and take charge of your business's energy efficiency. Twin twinsupplies.net.
Get your truly free credit scores and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma today. Download the Credit Karma app now. Credit Karma. Here's to progress.
It's 5:11. We just checked in with our friends at ComEd this morning. Hardly any power outages out there left over from yesterday's storms. Just a few on the far south and west sides of Chicago and some south and west of Aurora, about only 50 there. So we'll keep our eyes on that for you. There probably are some repercussions at the airports from canceled flights. To get that and more, let's get to the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Telemonte.
A major ramp is closed right now. The western suburbs going from the Reagan Tollway eastbound 88 to the southbound Tri-State 294. That ramp is closed due to flooding. Bensonville, there's a collision with injuries on 83 at Foster. There was a crash at Woodridge 53 at 83rd following a police chase. There's an ongoing investigation in that area. Roadwork starts today on 53 farther north of Long Grove. Long Grove Road at Middlesex. 355 northbound Veterans Memorial Toolway. Roadway has reopened. Butterfield and 22nd for a crash and investigation. Other expressways and tollways are okay at the moment. And that's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, skies will be mostly cloudy. Shower and thunderstorm, the high 65. A shower and thunderstorm tonight, low 51. For tomorrow and Thursday, cloudy with a shower and thunderstorm. The high tomorrow 68, Thursday's high 67. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
68 at O'Hare, 68 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Krylon Fusion all-in-one spray paint bonds to most surfaces for maximum rust protection and excellent coverage. No sanding or priming necessary. Plus, it comes in a variety of colors, so you can get the right finish in a single afternoon. Krylon, today we spray.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy.
How are
hope you had a
sunburned?
Yeah, I was out in the sun. That's how it works.
Well, were you over here? I mean, or you just got out early before the storms hit yesterday? Got out golfing?
Played golf. You know, it was sunny on Saturday,
yeah.
A little bit on Sunday, and
well,
a little bit of golf, a little bit of shooting. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, get out and enjoy the days in Illinois that are without snow and rain. But while I was golfing and shooting, while you were enjoying your Memorial Day weekend, gallivanting about, doing what you do.
Doing the, what did I do? Oh, did the bike the drive. Yeah.
Wasting your time on a bicycle.
I waved to you, by the way, when I was near your well-appointed condo at Lake Point Towers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get out early on that day because it's almost an irresistible target for me when I drive to see all those bicyclists on Lakeshore Drive.
I got to tell you, there was about 4 or 5 accidents this year, and you know why? People would stop in the middle of Lakeshore Drive to take a selfie while, you know, you've got your road warriors that are going by at 30 miles per hour. And I saw a lady hit a median, and oh my God, I still don't know what happened to her, but she was knocked out. But it was just, and then another unsolicited.
Fewer bikes on the road. That's good.
Yeah, unsolicited advice too. Moms, don't have your kids out there with training wheels, and don't avoid riding tricycles.
Here's some other unsolicited advice. If you're over 40 or your waist is over 40, don't wear spandex. Don't wear bicycle outfits, whatever the blouses that Lance Armstrong wore, or whatever the hell it is.
Well, there's singlets too.
It's ridiculous.
I know. It's the whole
bicycling culture there. I know I'm going to offend some people. Do not care. The whole bicycling culture down there is out of control. You're sometimes like the equivalent of a car on the road, except when you violate the rules of the road and imperil your lives and the lives of others. I'm just so sick of bicyclists around Navy Pier, around Lakeshore Drive. I hate the whole effete nature of bicyclists. So anybody who wants to take me on about cyclists, feel free to give us a call, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro.
Wow, why? I mean, because you're in the heart of it, right down by where you live with these I call them road warriors.
Yeah, but now we have the $450 billion flyover next to Lakeshore Drive that abuts Lakeshore Drive, so you can
is that
walk
just
and
for
ride
bicycles,
around.
or is that just for?
I don't care.
But I want to show you. I'm going to tweet out this picture. Look at this guy on Bike the Drive with this. I go, this is not the Iditarod. Get your husky dogs off.
Well, he's on like
the roadway.
Well, he's on like a little bike with a basket on it.
I know,
it's not
but
like he's doing race. It's not like he's racing with it.
He was impeding people because he wasn't going fast because he was trailing his 2 husky dogs along.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah. Right.
That's about as. I mean, if that wasn't bad enough, then you find out while you're trying to enjoy your weekend that the Illinois General Assembly's in session, and that's not good news. Mm-hmm. So the news out of this weekend, and while you were grilling and gallivanting, the news out of this weekend is maybe even, I don't know, even on a Monday, honoring the war dead. Maybe you were even doing that. Well, while you were doing that, the Illinois General Assembly was destroying work and life in this state. The House passed the graduated state income tax legislation that will trigger a ballot question come November of 2020 to change the state's income tax to graduate it so that, the wealthy, like people making more than 10 grand, pay more. So here's how this works, just so you get the gist of it. It's going to be on the ballot. It gets ratified with 50% of the vote, 50% plus 1 of the vote generally, or 60% of those who actually vote on the ballot question. So there's some drop-off that always occurs between the top of the ballot and the bottom of the ballot where these ballot questions are. So it's a simple majority of everybody who votes, or 60% of, or 60% of those who answer the ballot question vote in the affirmative. In other words, that's a long way of describing how this is going to pass, and this will be the law. So you're on notice. You are on notice, anybody who makes a little bit of money or aspires to, that the structural income taxes will be going up, and the corporate tax will be going up as well. They haven't settled on exactly what the deal is, but you get a good idea here. It's the Pritzker plan, just remember. So it'll be some facsimile of this, if not this specifically. First $10,000 of income for single and joint filers, 4.75. Income between 10 and 100 would be 4.9. Remember, it's 4.95 now. Okay. Over 100 grand, 100 grand to 250 grand, 4.95. 250 grand to 500 grand, 7.75. 500 to $1 million, 7.85. Over $1 million, 7.95. The corporate income tax from 7% to 7.99%. So that's the wealthy paying their fair share. Except they're not going to be paying their quote-unquote fair share when they're living in Dallas and Nashville and Charleston and West Palm Beach or Sarasota or Naples or throughout Florida for that matter. Or even going out west.
Arizona.
Yeah, Scottsdale, Denver. I mean, spin the wheel for destinations across the fruited plains where you'll find Illinoisans starting to congregate. Any city that's popping, that's attractive to people that are productive, will be getting an influx of Illinoisans. That's the fact. All this does is guarantee the exodus will continue because people don't like getting their work destroyed. And the other piece of it they don't like, the people that have firing synapses that are able to connect dots, which is a small fraction of the population here, which is why that is going to pass and become law. Mm-hmm. The other thing they don't like is getting nothing in return for what the government is taking from them. Even if it's not personally. I don't mean personally in return. I mean, they're not getting anything in return in terms of why am I not seeing improvement in public safety in Chicago? Why am I not seeing improvement in the quality of students being produced by K through 12? Why am I not seeing improvements in the services being provided to people with disabilities? Why am I not seeing
improvement in infrastructure?
The
potholes are everywhere.
Why did my car get swallowed up on 57? Right. So that's the thing. It's a poor quality of life at an exorbitant rate. People are tired of it. Jim in Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Before I'm going to say what I'm going to say, I have a Jerry Nadler health update.
Oh, good. Thank you.
it turns out they pinpointed the illness. He was actually listening to Bill de Blasio's speech, and it made him sick.
I see. Very good.
And
he ate through his band.
I saw. Did you see the picture of Jerry Nadler on Drudge? As an aside,
no.
Him sitting in a chair with his pants were literally just below his neckline. I thought
is a napkin.
I thought Ed Grimley had let himself terribly go. But I mean, you gotta see this.
It's not a doctored up photo.
The
really,
zipper on his pants goes from his Adam's apple to his nether region. If he still has one, I don't know. He may be smooth down there like a Ken doll. I don't know.
Okay.
All right,
and
Jim.
that was on
you
Drudge?
know,
Go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry for my Nadler tangent. Yeah.
You know that the statistic is in the paper. I read it. 54 people leave Chicago every day and settle in Northwest Indiana.
Yeah. Well,
I believe it.
Thanks for the call, Jim.
We should move our station.
I drove out.
Indiana.
Yeah, Chicago's Morning Answer coming to you live from Chesterton.
Yeah. WIND used to be Indiana. That's what the call letters were, not just wind and Chicago.
No, I know. It's ironic. It'd be
our
like
tower. We have a huge tower in Indiana already. So.
It's like pirate radio. You know, we're coming to you from outside the wall. That's exactly right. I drove to Three Oaks, Michigan yesterday to go shooting.
Uh-huh.
And don't think I wasn't looking around. Bruno in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer, live from Chesterton.
Yeah, so my son and his soon-to-be, hopefully, fiancé are looking for a house, and I think I've convinced them that they need to buy a house outside of the state of Illinois. And at this point now, I think they're committed to leaving the state, and as soon as they leave the state, because I want to be near grandchildren, I'm going to leave the state and move where they go.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. Thanks for the call, Bruno. That's a perfect example of how this should be attacked. It's been the graduated state income tax. You know, you've got this Greg Bayes-led independent expenditure group running some commercials. Same tired arguments, same weak tea from the quote-unquote business leaders, the same pablum you hear and the talking points from the handful of Republican legislators still milling about, all abstractions, all the, hand-wringing about a landscape that they helped to develop, all of them. And there's no real effective communication of the human cost. You're breaking up families. That's what terrible public policy does. It breaks up families. The commercial should be sending the kids away to college and never seeing them again until and unless you move to where they get a job, because they're not coming back here. I mean, it's that you have to convey the human cost, the havoc that is being wrought on families as a result of terrible public policy in this state. And this is just piling on. But again, I know it's what we voted for, so I'm not surprised, and I'm not going to pretend to be surprised. But I am going to point out why you get no opposition to the continued destruction of this state's economy and quality of life. There's no opposition to it because, frankly, there's no opposition to it, if you know what I mean. Not organized, not thoughtful, thus not effective.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
When the world is watching and you need your logo perfectly printed on promotional items, you need the ultimate guarantee. You need certainty. To know for certain it'll be right the first time, on the right items, at a great price. You need the promotional product experts at 4imprint. Because as soon as something has your logo on it, it matters to you, your customers, your coworkers, and to us. From pens and caps to hot tech and popular brands, 4imprint's wide selection always changes to keep up with the latest trends. But there is one thing we've delivered for over 30 years that's timeless: certainty. Because the world is certainly watching. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. That's the number 4imprint.com. For imprint. For certain.
Hey, the golf season. Another one's in the cup.
And another putt's in, and another putt's in, another putt's in the cup. Hey,
wow. Is this one of your numbers, Justin? Oh, okay.
Weird
Parody
Al.
song.
Weird Al is not, no.
Well,
this is not Weird Al quality.
Golf is in full swing, and you can still join us for our upcoming golf outing that is benefiting the 100 clubs of Chicago, Lake, McHenry, DuPage, and Will counties. Our morning shotgun is completely sold out, but we do have some foursomes in our 2 p.m. afternoon shotgun start. So join us in the afternoon on Monday, June 24th at the Mistwood Golf Club in Romeoville, presented by Clear Financial Strategies. And many of you asked, do I need to be a business owner to golf with us? The answer is no. Anyone can join us. Call this number, 312-363-6680 to reserve your foursome. That's 312-363-6680. And we'll see you on the first tee on Monday, June 24th at the Mistwood Golf Club in Romeoville.
I want you to kill every golfer on the course.
Check me if I'm wrong, Sandy, but if I kill all the golfers, they're going to lock me up and throw away the key.
Golfers! You're great, kid, not golfers. The little brown furry rodents.
We can do that.
Why?
We don't even have to have a reason.
I'm Sarah Wallace, General Manager at Magnolia Bakery.
Every cake has the backstory of who you're giving this cake to. It's happy birthday, Jessica, or happy sweet 16, Amy, and wanting Amy to have the best sweet 16 that she could ever have. I'm working for a sweeter world, one treat at a time.
At ADP, we're designing a better way to work so you can achieve what you're working for. HR, talent, time, benefits, and payroll, informed by data and designed for people. Learn more at design.adp.com.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents. When generic insurance takes hold, one handsome man and one flightless bird are teaming up to save the world. Money. Their message? Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. Their mission? Savings. Their relationship? Best friends. Say hello to Liberty Mutual's new spokes team. And Doug.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Equal housing insurer. State laws apply.
Balance of Nature, yes, 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies all in a single capsule. And if you have a sore throat, you can even crack open one of the fruits capsules and put it in warm water, and that will ease your throat and help you. That's what I'm going to do here soon because my throat's bothering me. And don't wait any longer to try Balance of Nature. Thousands of people, thousands, are taking it, including me, and we're enjoying healthier, more active lifestyles. I know you've heard their stories here on the air. Those stories are real. And the next story could be yours. So get healthy this summer with Balance of Nature. And right now, all new preferred customers will receive an additional 15% discount and free shipping on your first Balance of Nature order. But you've got to call to get your bottle of Balance of Nature. The number is 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy are talking about the graduated state income tax being authorized by the House like thieves in the night over the weekend while you were enjoying Memorial Day weekend.
I love how they just snuck that in there, huh?
Of course, that's what they do.
Because no one's paying attention.
Sandy in Dyer, Indiana.
Good morning. How are you?
Morning.
Hi, Sandy.
Okay, you guys, I'm sorry. I love you guys. You got to stop talking like this because these folks are moving over here and they haven't learned anything. They vote the same here as they do there. I live in Dyer. The council is 3 Democrats and 2 Republicans, and guess what the Democrats want to do? Raise property taxes.
Right.
So talk about Wisconsin. Don't talk about Indiana anymore, please.
All right, thanks, Sandy. The only thing I would say
You've been noticed.
is, Mitch Daniels and Mike Pence started it. I mean, they're the ones who put up the Illinois billboards and wooing people to come over to Northwest Indiana, so don't blame us. We're just trying to give right-thinking people, a pathway out. Improving the Skyway could help, by the way, too. That was no fun to drive either. But here's the thing. Most of the people leaving to Indiana, I would think, would be center-right.
Yeah, because they're smart enough to leave the state where the lemmings, the Democrats, just sit here and pay higher taxes.
Well, no, I mean, there's a lot.
They don't know any better.
There's a lot of Champagne socialists that are leaving too, but Indiana is way too down market for them.
Oh.
They have to go somewhere cosmopolitan. The North Shore Champagne Socialists, you think they'll move to Northwest Indiana? Pish posh.
I'll go to Naples, Florida.
Well, I know they better not go there either. But you know, they'll go. You know, they'll go to smoke dope and eat mushrooms in Colorado. Hopefully, but I don't think Northwest Indiana has to worry about the Champagne Socialists. Maybe some blue collar types who have been mugged by the reality of Illinois, but they haven't quite fully internalized the lesson. So I do hear what Sandy's saying.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll pick up our discussion on Illinois. Something else they did over the weekend, too, which is get one step closer to Illinois being the abortion capital of America at 5:38.
And later, a new Gillette ad. Ooh, you have to hear this one. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
68 degrees outside, cloudy skies. Folks in the Midwest working today to start cleaning up after more than 50 tornadoes swept across the region on Memorial Day. One very powerful and destructive tornado blew through Dayton, Ohio, Monday night. Armando Dominguez says, frankly, he's lucky to be alive.
I'm just glad I got home to get them because literally at the end of the day, I would have been worse. But I have no car now, no home. And I've been working really hard to get all this.
National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center says tornadoes touched down in 6 Midwest and Plains states. 2 victims are dead after a knife-wielding man went on a stabbing spree at a bus stop in Japan. More than a dozen are injured. It happened at a stop in the city of Kawasaki, not far from Tokyo, and most of the victims were school children. President Trump offered his condolences while on a tour of a Japanese Navy ship while winding down his official state visit.
On behalf of the First Lady and myself, I want to take a moment to send our prayers and sympathy to the victims of the stabbing attack this morning in Tokyo. All Americans stand with the people of Japan and grieve for the victims and for their families.
A 12-year-old girl, a 39-year-old man were killed in the mass stabbing. There's a merger in the automotive business in the works between Fiat Chrysler and French automaker Renault this morning. Analyst Michelle Krebs of Autotrader.com very skeptical, noting the old Daimler-Chrysler alliance looked good on paper, but absolutely did not work out.
Chrysler has some weaknesses, and Renault has some weaknesses, and my big concern is neither of them have strength in China, which is the biggest car market in the world.
FCA issued a statement saying they're proposing a new company to be 50% owned by shareholders and 50% owned by Renault. In Brazil this morning, 42 inmates are dead at 3 prisons after a riot at a jail. Tallest mountain in the world claims another American life. Christopher John Coolidge died Monday while coming down from the summit of Mount Everest. He's a 62-year-old lawyer from Colorado and the 11th person to die on Everest this climbing season. One person is dead after being shot by Joliet police. Officers were called out yesterday on a report of a domestic battery in progress. Police entered a home that was on fire and found an offender armed with a handgun and holding a hostage. The suspect shot at officers before the officers returned fire. The Illinois House, by a slim margin, 2 votes to spare, has put a graduated income tax proposal on the ballot in November of 2020. The 73-44 vote split along mostly party lines. And a Glendale Heights man is accused of shooting a gun at a Schaumburg hotel over the weekend. Zachary Wolfel faces weapons and drug charges. Astros over the Cubs 6-5. Sox and Royals will play a game and a half today at Guaranteed Rate Field after their Memorial Day game was suspended after hours of a rain delay. And how about those Chicago Wolves headed for the Calder Cup Finals for the first time since 2008 after a win in Game 6 over San Diego. 5:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes the information gap is significant.
I want people who do not agree with me to read me. This is a very real problem in America. Conservatives read and know what the left thinks, and the opposite is not the case at all.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Did you miss the open enrollment this year? I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan at any time that eliminates the mandatory maternity coverage. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent producer for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other carriers. If you're over 50 and are covered by the Affordable Care Act, you're paying for maternity coverage every month whether you want it or not. In Chicago, the least expensive PPO health insurance plan under the ACA will cost $572 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $7,900 before your bills are paid at 100%. I can show you how to eliminate the mandatory maternity coverage and lower your monthly premium to $278 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $2,500 before your bills are paid at 100%. That's a savings of $294 a month and over $5,000 with my lower deductible. For a free quote and to see if you qualify, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
A lost dog, not a lost cause. Read Catching Murphy, the latest book from the Associated Press, available now exclusively at Amazon.com.
At 5:38 in the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jim Telemonte.
We are seeing some traffic now around O'Hare this morning. Westbound 190 traffic slow, River Road to Manheim. The outbound Kennedy has some congestion approaching 190. Looking at about 24 minutes from downtown to the airport. Let's get to O'Hare. We look at the flight boards there. We do see a sprinkling of delays. Do check flight status before heading to O'Hare or Midway. Speaking of Midway, inbound Stevenson traffic is slow now from before Central to Kedzie, and also from Damon to the Ryan. 39 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Inbound Ryan has a 2-minute delay coming into downtown. Bishop Ford, 3 or 4-minute delay approaching the Verge. The eastbound Reagan tollway ramp to the southbound Tri-State remains closed due to flooding. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm around today. High of 65. Well, we're above that right now. 68 at O'Hare and along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We're talking about Illinois because there was some movement under cover of dark this weekend by the Illinois General Assembly on a number of 2 important fronts. One, taxes going up. Graduated state income tax will be on the ballot November 2020. And the other on abortion, making Illinois the most pro-abortion state in the country beyond New York, which is what Governor Jellybelly Spalding promised to do. So he's doing what he said he was going to do.
Wait, infanticide? What kind of
Can't be
bill
surprised.
are we talking about?
Yeah, it's just picking up the legislation that we've talked about previously, changing some of the language to try and get enough support to get it out of the House, which it got out of committee, and now it goes to the House floor. It's already been passed by the Senate. Then when it would go to Spalding's desk for signature. And so, look, I just get all the Illinois stuff out right out of the gate on a Tuesday morning after Labor Day. get all the poison out, then we can go on
I
about
didn't even
our day.
know that they were convening. I mean, do they normally meet on Labor Day or Memorial Day weekend?
Well, they're up against the clock. The session technically ends the end of May.
Okay.
And, they leave some of these things to the very end to hopefully move them along quickly when people aren't paying attention. So you have a session on Sunday night, as they did.
Oh, Sunday night.
Yeah, Sunday night, Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, when everyone's paying attention. And I'm saying that facetiously.
This bill, by the way, just so you get credit where credit's due, the graduated state income tax, increasing your taxes, driving businesses and families out of here, separating families, that was a sponsor of Bobby Martwick over on the northwest side of the city. So congratulations to the northwest side of Chicago for that. And he was challenged last cycle by Amy Kessler.
Amy Kessler, yeah.
So,
Amy.
so you can't use the excuse, Republicans never put up challengers. They did. They put up a good one, a Chicago police officer. But the northwest side Democrats and that electorate, they're smarter. They're smarter. They went with Martwick. Okay.
And doesn't Martwick's company, what do they do?
He's a property tax appeals attorney.
Yeah.
And then you have this legislation sponsored by Kelly Cassidy, who had like a Meredith Baxter Burney conversion.
Oh, really?
I'm a gay woman now.
Oh, so she came out.
And one day one day she woke up.
Oh,
and they said, "Oh, now I'm gay," after having a family and so forth. Yeah. Okay. Here's the bill. Here is expanding abortion, eliminating notice, repealing protections for women, including girls. The initial legislation had no exception for conscience, so doctors had to check their faith at the door. This has language that provides some religious exemption, conscious exemption. But again, all you need to know about the General Assembly is what the original language said in order to understand their real desire and intent as it pertains to faith and medical professionals who have particular faith. So this is still in play, and the reason it was bottled up until this point is because of the public pressure that was brought to bear by pro-life community on members of the General Assembly. They may have lost their souls, many of those legislators, but they don't want to lose their seats. And so the number of witness slips that were filed in opposition to this legislation, which over the weekend was running about 6-1 against, is important. So there's still the opportunity to file witness slips and otherwise contact your legislators and register your opposition to this pro-infanticide, anti-women's health legislation called the Reproductive Health Act, typically Orwellian name. But that's what this is. You're allowing medical people who are not doctors to perform abortions in some cases. I mean, you think that's pro-women's health?
That's a dumb idea.
Is that what you want Illinois to be known for?
Well, can gynecologists, I don't know, I haven't read the Reproductive Health Act, but can gynecologists opt out of giving abortions?
Well, this is the idea that there's some exemption language in there, some right of conscience language in there. How that will actually play out in practice, I think it's a bit dubious. Here's what they try to do, too, with the medical professionals piece of it. The language change, they changed the definition of viability. So babies wouldn't be considered, quote unquote, viable until 26 weeks. It's the language. And whenever they become viable is when a doctor is required to be present for the abortion. So the new language that animates the idea of non-doctors performing surgical abortions. Okay. So the new language says that the doctor only has to be present for the abortion after baby is viable. So they just moved the viability out from 21 weeks to 26 weeks. You see? And then they'll come back and say, oh, no. We're protecting women's health and rights. A doctor has to perform abortion. Well, no.
26 weeks. My friend gave birth to her child at 26 weeks.
Well,
she's in the NICU unit, but, I mean, she's an adorable little girl.
Exactly. Well, that's exactly the point, isn't it?
That's barbaric.
Yeah, Pritzker. Pritzker has, in the run-up to this, I mean, the first thing out of the gate, January of this year, was to sign a executive order to protect mandatory funding, taxpayer funding of abortion on demand that was signed into law by Benedict Rauner, the previous governor. Yeah. And so now they're going to build on that. Oh, that'll be enough. That wasn't outrageous enough what happened under Rauner, opposed by a majority of Illinoisans, opposed as a majority of Illinoisans oppose late-term abortions, support parental notification, if not consent. But none of that matters because it is all, those nuances are all sacrificed on the altar of women's health, and where's anybody going to stand up to that? In Illinois? Yeah. But there's still an opportunity to participate. There's still an opportunity to try and put pressure on. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. And by the way, just one other quick aside, how much this is a sacrament of the religion of leftism. You know they're coming after Dan Lipinski, Democrat. Tell me again about the Big Tent Democrats. Tell me again about respect for diversity of opinion. Dan Lipinski is being challenged by sort of not just the leftist base of the party, but also the establishment has taken a walk on him as he's challenged by Marie Newman again, as he almost lost her 2 years ago in the primary. And the entire issue is him being pro-life. The entire issue is like one of the few remaining pro-life Democrats that you could actually point to. Not that he's done much in advance of it. I mean, I'm now a huge fan of Dan Lipinski. I think he's pretty weak and he's in the wrong party, and that's his fault because it's his choice. But the Democrats will expunge anyone. There is zero tolerance for anyone who has a nuanced, much less pro-life view on this issue. So again, the Big Tent, the pluralism, the diversity, spare me.
So what can we do? I mean, the House is going to reconvene at 9 a.m. today and vote on the Reproductive Health Act.
Again, and you've had Illinois Right to Life send out missives. You've had ICE PAC, Illinois Citizens for Ethics PAC, has sent out missives with the details. It's easy enough. I posted on Facebook the link to the Illinois General Assembly website where you can fill out a witness slip. It takes all of 1 minute to do in opposition to the legislation. You know, go click online, call your state legislator, and even more importantly, depending on where you live, call suburban Democrat state legislators because they're the ones really in the crosshairs on this. They're the ones who have the most to lose politically, and again, that's all they care about is what there is to lose politically. Candace in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin.
Good morning, you guys. Friday, I think there was a post from Emily's List, which is this part of the DNC that pretends that they're, trying to get the moderates, and they were doing an actual roll call for Wisconsin women who are Democrats who are pro-life. But I just want to say to those kind of women, are you a complete fool? Are you kidding yourself? There's no such thing. Your party is left, period. It doesn't matter if you're moderate. It's already left the train station, and you're still going to be funding with your state money abortion. You know what I mean? Yeah,
thanks for the call, Candace. Again,
I know pro-choice women who are upset that our tax dollars are paid for abortions. And they don't like infanticide. They think it's too much. And Pritzker, I mean, he was just all bells and whistles for, we're going to do it as soon as I get into office. I'm going to sign this. I'll make sure that we're still tax-funded payer abortions and now infanticide.
All unborn life is treated as having no value or rights. It includes language, the legislation, treating all unborn in all stages of development as having absolutely no value or rights going beyond Roe. Right. At what point does the unborn child receive protection from abortion? The proponents answered, when they're born. Okay? That's not life at any stage until they're born, according to the sponsors and supporters of this legislation. So Illinois will lead the nation in one thing, abortions. Hooray?
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Have you heard about Newsmax TV? It's America's fastest growing cable news channel in 70 million homes. Every minute, every day. Watch Newsmax for breaking news on President Trump. Plus, get insights from Bill O'Reilly, Alan Dershowitz, Pat Buchanan, Mike Reagan, and more. You can find Newsmax TV on DirecTV, Xfinity, Dish, Optimum, Spectrum, Fios, Uverse, Suddenlink, WOW, and dozens of cable systems. So check your guide now and watch Newsmax TV. Real news for real people.
I used to post my jobs to lots of job boards in hopes of getting a few great candidates. It was like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Then I went to ZipRecruiter. Hiring is so much easier now. ZipRecruiter sends my jobs to over 100 job boards and finds the right candidates for me. Fast.
4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Take control of your income and your future. I'm talking about Online Trading Academy. They are the leader in trading and investing education with courses offered throughout Chicagoland area, including East Peoria, Valparaiso, and Lombard. With Online Trading Academy, you can learn about ways to generate income and protect your retirement. I signed up to take a free class at the Lombard Academy, and I was so impressed by what I experienced. I really learned a lot about the markets and how to trade. Now, the instructor was incredibly knowledgeable. He was actually funny, and he took time to explain to us their patented trading strategy. After my experience, I really recommend that you give it a try. Sign up for the free introduction class, and I'm sure you'll walk away with a new understanding of trading in the markets. Call this number, 844-778-7132. That's 844-778-7132 to attend and get 2 free passes to their next class so you can learn for yourself. Call now. These slots always fill up quickly, and they'll send you home with their professionals insider kit. It's full of exclusive investing courses and some of their best lessons from the pros. Seats again go quickly, so call 844-778-7132 or visit them online at otaclass.com.
It's Health Quest Radio, Chicagoland's longest-running health, news, and science show with your host, Dr. David Kolbaba.
You know, people who age slower live longer. It's our dirt cheap age analysis assessment. We can compare your biologic age with your chronologic age to determine how fast you're aging. Just a few seconds to safely scan for those advanced glycation end products that cause premature aging. And I'll pay for your first assessment. That's right, your first one is free. Then we'll give you a few things to do and retest in 60 days. It's our dirt cheap age analysis assessment. But you gotta call our Health Quest radio hotline at 800-794-1855. That's 800-794-1855. First one free if you make that call right now. Some conditions and restrictions to apply. It's our dirt cheap age analysis assessment. Call 800-794-1855. It's Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11.
As a parent, you want what's best for your children. That means sending them to a school where they'll get the superior education they deserve, and that also shares your values. That can be tricky these days, as public schools have changed and private schools can be expensive. Your household budget has already been cut to the bone, and it's hard to imagine where you'll find that extra money. Well, there's help to lessen that financial burden and provide your child with the very best education at half the cost. At AM 560 The Answer, we work with private schools throughout the Chicagoland area to provide tuition for families at half the normal cost. Just log on to halfpriceschools.com and you'll find some of Chicagoland's finest private schools, from preschool all the way through high school, at half the cost. And chances are there's a school right in your neighborhood. Invest in your child's education and future at halfpriceschools.com. A limited number of half-price vouchers are available. Go to halfpriceschools.com now.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson, and my good friend Mike Lindell, you know, the MyPillow guy, has authorized me to make the best offer ever on radio, TV, or in store. For a limited time only, you can get a 2-pack of premium MyPillows for only $69.98. That's only $34.99 per pillow, the lowest price ever offered in the history of MyPillow. If you don't own a MyPillow yet or already know why this is the pillow everybody wants and loves because you have one, then get the best deal ever. And by the way, you can still get 30% off pet beds, mattress toppers, and those Giza cotton sheets that I love. So act now to get this brand new, absolutely lowest price ever of 2 premium MyPillows for only $69.98. Go to MyPillow.com, use promo code Amy, or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201, or MyPillow.com. Use promo code Amy.
Visit MyPillow.com.
When John Mariotti started Woodland Windows and Doors in 1969, he knew that relationships were important. He knew that he needed to look out for his customers' best interests. Today, Woodland is run by the second and third generation of Mariottis, who continue to build great relationships and to service their customers. Homeowners and builders turn to Woodland Windows and Doors for the individual attention they get on each project. They have a huge selection of replacement windows, skylights, and doors, specialists who know their stuff, and professional installation. Woodland has replacement and new windows, patio entry and scenic doors, and a reputation for bringing customers back for more. Every job is unique. Every job is done right. That's why for 50 years, homeowners have trusted Woodland Windows and Doors with their projects. Woodland Windows and Doors, online at woodlandwindows.com, or stop by their showroom on the corner of Lake and Gary in Roselle.
AM 560, The Answer.
Gillette is doubling, tripling down on their embrace of cultural Marxism, I hear. New ad.
Yeah, the latest Gillette ad is a heartwarming look at a transgender man's first shave. So the video features trans activist Samson Brown, who used to be a girl, and he's with his father, who walks him through this rite of passage of the first shave.
Growing up, I was always trying to figure out what kind of man I wanted to become, and I'm still trying to figure out what kind of man that I want to become. I always knew I was different. I didn't know that there was a term for the type of person that I was. I went into my transition just wanting to be happy. I'm glad I'm at the point where I'm able to shave. South, south, north, north, east, west, never in a hurry. Right.
One. Now, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Shaving is about being confident. Oh, you're doing fine. You are doing fine.
I'm at the point in my manhood where I'm actually happy. It's not just myself transitioning, it's everybody around me transitioning.
So you get the picture. He's in the mirror. I mean,
Well,
it's
I
just
get the
promoting this transgender culture. He's not transsexual. He's transgender, so he hasn't had the operation yet. But he's been taking hormones to grow hair on his face, so this was a big deal for him.
Yeah. And the key phrase there is at the end. It's not just me transitioning, it's everybody transitioning, because that's the goal. That's the goal. That's what cultural Marxism is. I had to define this. I was on Mike Flannery's show on Fox Chicago over the weekend, yeah, you know, I referred to Lori Lightfoot's inaugural speech as just a vanilla cultural Marxism. It's like, well, what's cultural Marxism? I know Marxism is, you know, the proletariat versus the bourgeoisie. What? Yes, right. So expand that. It's not just workers versus management. It's all the intersectional components. So it's race-based against the quote-unquote bourgeois. It's gender identity-based against the quote-unquote bourgeois. And the new bourgeois is not necessarily the ownership class.
It's 6 a.m. now and time for Fox News.
Dawn is shedding first lights on a lot of tornado devastation. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Well, everything's demolished. His house is flipped sideways. This was probably about where their kitchen was.
He's in Indiana, where one big twister started late last night, then tore a miles-long path into Ohio.
I was just sitting there praying that it passes and praying that I'm safe and I'm alive.
So far, there are no deaths reported, but there's a lot of damage in several communities. Catherine Bodak with Fox 19 TV is just outside Dayton.
The entire
front of that house was torn off. And as we cross the road here, you can see all of the debris, the insulation folks are going to have to clean up today. And there's the side of a garage that's gone. The car in the garage, the windows were blown out the back.
Tens of thousands of homes and businesses have lost power. Flooding's the big problem along the swollen Arkansas River. Homes and roads underwater. It may get worse. He's one of the many stacking sandbags.
And I just want to try to save what I can inside my house to keep the water from coming in.
President Trump is on his way back from Japan, wrapping up a 4-day trip with a late Memorial Day address to troops on the USS Wasp.
You defend our freedom, our families, and you defend our great American flag.
And before he left, the president offered his condolences for a deadly attack on schoolgirls near Tokyo. Fox's Simon Owens live with details.
Dave, a man armed with knives and reportedly shouting, "I will kill you," attacking a group of children at a bus stop in the city of Kawasaki. Police say an 11-year-old girl and a 39-year-old man were killed. There are reports another 16 children and 1 adult were also injured. The suspect is thought to have stabbed himself, dying after he was captured. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe saying he's outraged and calling the attack a harrowing incident. Dave?
This is Fox News.
Skies are partly sunny right now, but we should expect clouds to sock us in most of the day. 6:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. Here are the stories we're following on WIND Chicago. Cleanup is underway after severe storms hit the Chicago area Memorial Day. Rain, hail, high winds causing damage, down trees, power lines, although power is mostly restored, says ComEd. National Weather Service says a tornado did touch down near the Illinois-Indiana border just east of Sauk Village into Dyer, Indiana. Strong winds also caused a gas station canopy to collapse on cars in Alsip. National Weather Service confirms 3 small tornadoes did tear through Champaign County as well. 1 person is dead after being shot by Joliet police. Officers were called out yesterday on a report of a domestic battery in progress and entered a home that was on fire on Justice Lake Drive. They found an offender armed with a handgun holding a hostage. Suspect shot at officers before officers returned fire, killing the suspect. Authorities investigating a deadly paddleboat accident in Arlington Heights. That paddleboat flipped over on Lake Terramere. New Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot spent Memorial Day weekend appearing at community events and joining police at crime scenes.
I wanted to understand what had happened. I wanted to be there and present for the people in the community that were gathered. And I also wanted to show support for our officers who were out there investigating.
Lightfoot, after flooding the streets with 1,200 additional officers, saw a violence-filled long holiday weekend, nearly 40 shot, 5 killed. The Illinois House has put a graduated income tax proposal on the ballot for November of 2020 after a midnight 73-44 vote split along party lines. Astros survived a shaky ninth to beat the Cubs 6-5 in Houston. White Sox and Royals will play what amounts to a game and a half today at Guaranteed Rate Field after yesterday's Memorial Day game was suspended. 2019 NCAA Baseball Championship bracket is out, and 5 Big Ten teams are in, including the Fighting Illini, and Illinois State and UIC are in as well in the same regional in Louisville. The news service of Credit Karma. Get your truly free credit scores and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma today. Download the Credit Karma app now. Credit Karma, here's to progress. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Sean Hannity Show.
There are now presidential candidates buying into all of this. You know, getting rid of oil and gas, getting rid of the combustion engine. They've all lost their minds. It's not just Ocasio-Cortez. You got at least 100 of these House lunatics that are advocating free guaranteed job, free government Medicare for all, but you can't buy private insurance.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
At Dell, we know running a small business takes hard work. As a thank you, for all of Small Business Month, we're offering up to 45% off select computers with Intel Core processors. Plus, get additional savings when you call a Dell Small Business Technology Advisor. Call 877-BUY-DEL today. That's 877-BUY-DEL. Additional savings valid May 6th through 30th at 8 a.m. Eastern on select computers when customer calls Dell. Excludes Dell Canvas, PowerEdge T30, and select order codes.
We've all read some surprising online reviews, whether scoping out a spot for vacation or trying to find the best happy hour. So why should finding software for your business be any different? With over 850,000 software reviews, make an informed decision with Capterra. Capterra is the leading free online resource to help you find the best business software. From applicant tracking to workflow software, read reviews in over 700 categories from users just like you. Join the 4 million people that use Capterra each month. Find the right software today with Capterra. That's CAPTERRA.com/radio.
It was a brutally cold, harsh winter. Pothole season is bad. Guess what? Your commercial building parking lot took a beating too. Take care of it now to prevent further damage. Time to get a great parking lot. Great Parking Lots, a local company with decades of great parking lots for Chicagoland. Get a quote.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great Parking Lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great.
Commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. Get a great parking lot. They use a special process that not only works well, but lasts longer. It's a great investment for your business or for your commercial building to have a great parking lot. It's the first impression for everyone in the building and people visiting the building. And you can do business with a company that shares your values.
I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Check it out. GreatParkingLots.com.
GreatParkingLots.com. GreatParkingLots.com.
Account Temps. Do you need accounting and finance professionals to help for the duration of your long-term or recurring projects? Turn to their salaried professional service for exclusive access to their hard-to-find talent. Visit AccountTemps.com. Account Temps, a Robert Half company.
6:07 on AM 560. That means it's time for a dry basement at a healthy home. Time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. Let's get an update on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Telemonte.
The eastbound Reagan Tollway ramp to the southbound Tri-State remains closed due to flooding. Seeing some heavy traffic on the Indiana Toll Road in both directions around Calumet Avenue due to ongoing construction in that area. Kennedy inbound 23 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 32 with delays starting now around Montrose. Westbound 190 is bottled up with airport traffic. On Eisenhower, 34 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 30. Stevenson now 43 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Linus 24 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 17 minutes, 90 to the Bird Fishing 421. West side, there's a fire, 15th, Hamlin, at a coach house. It's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Mostly cloudy today, shower and thunderstorm, high 65. Clouds tonight, shower and a thunderstorm, low 51. For tomorrow and Thursday, shower and a thunderstorm around, the high tomorrow 68. Thursday's high at 67. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Cloudy 67 at O'Hare. Next news, 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday after Memorial Day. And we would be remiss if we did not mention in memoriam the passing over the weekend of both Bart Starr, the great Packers quarterback, and Chicago's very own, of sorts, Bill Buckner.
Yeah, Bill Buckner died at 69 from complications from dementia.
Yeah, I remember he got that diagnosis that was made public. It's sad. I mean, relatively young guy. And, did you ever see the Bill Buckner episode, the Curb Your Enthusiasm episode with Bill Buckner?
Yes.
Fantastic.
We should
So
pull
good.
that.
And Buckner was great in it. He did a great job playing along with Larry David in the game. That was excellent. So he's forgiven. I mean, he may not.
Is he forgiven now?
Well, he's forgiven for 1986,
Right.
but I mean, that's I guess Red Sox fans have to forgive him. I don't care about that.
Oh, they'll never forgive.
I forgave him for playing for the Cubs.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And Bart Starr, there's a great quote on Bart Starr, who was really underrated. One of the great quarterbacks, should definitely be in the conversation with your Tom Brady's and your Peyton Mannings and your Joe Montanas. His Hall of Fame teammate Jerry Kramer writing about him in 1985. Bart came as close to perfection as any man I ever met. Perfection as a quarterback and as a human being. Bart always said the right thing, always did the right thing. All the years we played together, I looked for a flaw, waited for a slip, an inconsistency, a contradiction in his nature. I never spotted one.
Yeah, they described him as such a gentleman and always the boss, but just a beautiful human being. So he died at the age of 85.
Yeah. So and then his son announced that there will be some sort of memorial event for him up in Green Bay at Lambeau, which is only appropriate. The date and the time and the particulars have been figured out, but that's going to happen. So that should be really some affair when they do that in Green Bay. All right. Well, transitioning the other. There were other things happening over this weekend, of course, including President Trump in Japan visiting with Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. And it came back on the USS Wasp. Did you hear that?
Yeah, he was.
USS Wasp. Was that christened by Judge Schmales' wife? Do you remember the speech Judge Schmales gave to christen the USS Wasp?
Uh-huh.
It's easy to...
Take your time. We have 3 hours.
It's easy to grin when your ships come in and you've got the stock market beat, but the man who's worthwhile is the man who can smile when his shorts are too tight in the seat. Oh, okay, Pookie. And then she christened it USS Wasp. And
well, he was on the USS Wasp
Yeah.
and talking about climate change. And what do these guys like? Do you like steam or electric?
You know, steam's only worked for about 65 years perfectly. Steam or electric? Ready? Steam. Electric. They're always coming up with new ideas. They're making planes so complex you can't fly them. We all want innovation, but it's too much.
A little hit to Boeing there, but Melania was there too. That lightened up the mood. The troops were happy to see him.
Well, he created a bit of a stir, as he is wont to do, during a press avail with Prime Minister Abe when he was asked about comments that his little buddy Kim Jong-un made about former Vice President Biden. Trump saying this.
Well, Kim Jong-un made a statement that Joe Biden is a low IQ individual. He probably is, based on his record. I think I agree with him on that. But at the same time, my people think it could have been a violation, as you know. I view it differently. I view it as a man, perhaps he wants to get attention, and perhaps not. Who knows? It doesn't matter. All I know is that there have been no nuclear tests. There have been no ballistic missiles going out. There have been no long-range missiles going out. And I think that someday we'll have a deal. I'm not in a rush. Tremendous sanctions being put on the country of North Korea. And again, Kim Jong-un understands the unbelievable economic potential that country has.
And that statement drew this from Ian Bremmer, who is a Time columnist. President Trump in Tokyo, quote, Kim Jong-un is smarter and would make a better president than sleepy Joe Biden, unquote. The problem with that quote...
Did he really say that?
Is that Trump never said it.
I didn't hear Trump say that.
He never said it.
Fake news.
Ian Bremmer ultimately...
Did he fess up that he made that up?
Ultimately apologized for it.
Well, no, he should be fired for that. That is very irresponsible, especially as a journalist and you're traveling with the president.
Here's what Ian Bremmer said about the point of his fabricated quote. This is objectively a completely ludicrous quote and yet kind of plausible, especially on Twitter where people automatically support whatever political position they have. That's the point. So he's saying that was the point, is to draw out people and also to sort of parody the president. But I don't think that's the point. What the point is embedded in the reaction you get from the likes of Anna Navarro, who is a CNN contributor who alleges to be, some sort of Republican consultant.
She's on The View a ton.
Of course she is. She responds to, she goes nuts. It's not freaking normal in all caps. This is insanity. He's praising a cruel dictator, so on and so forth. Ted Lieu, Democrat congressman from California, also lost his business. Now, Bremer apologized, but that's not the point. That's not the real takeaway from this little episode. The real takeaway is how insincere and insatiable the outrage machine on cable TV and social media is. That's what this is. Feeding the outrage machine. And that's what you get from all of these people wringing their hands. They don't care about facts. They're not going to hesitate for a minute to comment, or to check before they comment. Not for a minute, because the outrage machine needs to be fed. Now you get what Bremer did is inadvertently expose those who are he's inclined to believe or to agree with, at least as it pertains to Trump. They're insincere, they're insatiable, they're cheap carnival barkers. That's all they are. And they shouldn't be taken seriously. And this is a perfect segue to Ross Douthat's piece over the weekend in the New York Times, How Liberalism Loses. And I don't agree with it in toto. Douthat is a bit milquetoasty for me on some of these issues. I don't think he'd fully, despite as smart a guy as he is, he doesn't fully appreciate the cultural Marxists. But he starts to get to it. How liberals lose, how liberalism loses, and it's not liberalism, it's leftism. It's cultural Marxism. The strategic flaw of the leftist, I'm paraphrasing, is that politics isn't about casually held opinions on a wide range of topics, but focused prioritization of specifics. He is focused on even the reasonably toned Mayor Pete, the mannequin that escaped the men's department at the Macy's
in South Bend,
in Mishawaka. Yeah.
Or
Even him, there's no common ground to be had on immigration, on guns, on abortion, and there's no ground to be ceded either. There's no space here for you. That's the leftist position. And reasonable Mayor Pete is indistinguishable from AOC and the Socialist Spice Girls on these cultural issues. And this has all of a sudden dawned on Douthat, which is good news, I suppose. The cultural dominance of the left, writes Douthat, establishes a broad, shallow left-of-center consensus, which evaporates when people have some personal reason to reject liberalism or confront the limits of its case. To insist that liberalism is a seamless garment, an indivisible agenda that need not be compromised on any front, that's the impulse. And that's the impulse that will spell their doom in 2020, writes Douthat, and I agree with him. I don't think he's nearly as strong as he could be on it, but he's directionally correct. There is no give. And I think sometimes people have a hard time believing that, really, until you see it over and over and over again from every corner of the left, from the room temperature Mayor Pete to the ravings of cable TV pundits to the whimsy of AOC on social media. It is all of a similar kind. And that's what's going to be put to the voters in 2020 because there is no let up from the left on this. Tom in Deer Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Oh, hi, good morning. You guys both know that I'm not from the left, but I'll give you 3 examples of the president. Some are minor, some major, but he comes out on Friday and talks about Fed policy overseas on foreign soil. That's a no-no. He gets on the ship yesterday and starts out with a faux pas by saying Happy Memorial Day, which was on a military event, which was embarrassing and foolish. But then the North Koreans came out with a statement taking a shot at John Bolton, calling him a human defect, something along those lines. with no pushback from the president. So, in my opinion, as he did when he met with Putin, his overseas trips are an embarrassment and a disaster. And if Obama did anything like this, we'd be calling you up screaming all day at all the radio stations if Obama did it. But when Donald Trump does it, no people call in except me. So I don't understand that.
Okay, thanks for the call, Tom.
He said he was personally bothered. He was not personally bothered by their recent short-range missile test, and that put him at odds with Bolton, who was bothered by it, and the Prime Minister of Japan.
I mean, again, one of the reasons we don't go through this over and over again is because at some point people become inured to it. Yeah. So, happy Memorial Day. Okay, yeah. Ha. That's the wrong thing to say.
I heard that a lot this weekend, which I thought was out of line, but whatever.
And Tom from Deer Park, President Trump inartful when talking about his relationships with, conversations with other foreign leaders, including disgusting, murderous dictators like Kim Jong-un and Putin, for that matter, and many others. Sort of the nature of the beast. Iran, even. I'm not for regime change in Iran. I mean, I would have said I'm not for regime change from the outside in. I'm certainly be happy for those with small d democratic impulses to overthrow that tyrannical regime in Iran. That's what I would have said. Is it a scandal? Is it embarrassing America? I don't know. I the beholder, but I mean, sort of forest for the twigs a little bit here. Forest for the twigs, Tom. So you gotta sort of bring your outrage or your disgust or your criticism where it's most valid, I think, if you want standing for something other than just a personality conflict. John Bolton's not bothered by, criticism from Kim Jong-un. I'm sure he wears that as a badge of honor. That's a scandal? No, it's not.
What about when he handed out the sumo championship trophy, which was 70 pounds, by the way, and awesome because Trump loves pro wrestling, and he's always wanted to see a sumo wrestling match.
As sumo grand champion, I hereby award you the United States President's Cup.
It was cool.
Yeah, I don't
showed
think
his human side. I thought it was.
I don't think Melania very much enjoyed the sumo wrestling match. She was. What the hell is going on? Why are those two big men wearing diapers? Mike on the north side.
Good morning. I'm going to have to rise in defense of my president. It's the economy, stupid. Did you hear that, Tom, in Deer Park? It's the economy. I'm going to make a prediction. Trump's going to get reelected. Trump's going to win Illinois, and he's going to win 40% in Cook County. Because remember, 2020.
Illinois. Are you crazy?
Listen,
are you
in
off
2020.
Your meds?
Yeah.
No, I'm not on meds. I've never taken meds.
I'm just
what I want to tell you is,
Mike.
who's going to be on the ballot in 2020 in Illinois? You're going to have
nobody.
Our great president. No, wrong. Mike Madigan's going to be on the ballot. You're going to have a constitutional amendment. Do you trust Mike Mallett to raise your taxes?
Yawn.
And you're going to have in Cook County, you're going to have Crimea Fox running for re-election.
Yeah.
The city's going to explode with crime with these leftists running the city now.
That's real wishful
Trump is going to destroy any Democrat in Illinois.
Thanks for the call, Mike. You must have, you may not be on any meds, but I don't know, maybe you had too many brats over the weekend because that just is in no way connected to the reality on the ground in Chicago or Illinois. By the way, I'm so glad you said it's the economy, stupid. It's not the economy, stupid. Not the economy, stupid. Not totally. A very good piece by Eric Kaufman, who's a politics professor at University of London, Quillette.com. How progressivism, leftism, enabled the rise of the populist right. And he's talking about the recently concluded European Union elections, where the center and center-left took a hammering. No one more so than Macron in France. And he points out, and he goes through the data, it's very interesting. It's not the economy, stupid, the rise of sort of the populist right. And certainly that's, if it didn't start with Trump, it certainly has gone up at a 45-degree angle since Trump. There's little evidence to back up the assertions that all that's needed is to redistribute wealth, grow the economy, and devolve power, and everything will be fine. In numerous surveys, immigration attitudes and salience, not economic circumstances or even anti-elitism, are what best explain why people vote for right-wing populists. Immigration attitudes and salience, in addition to some of what I was talking about before, their absolutism with respect to their positions, where no dissent will be tolerated and orthodoxy will be enforced across the board. We're bigger than economic man and woman. The idea of treating us as economic man and woman, one-dimensional beings, that's what failed Republican parties in this country, like in Illinois, like in California, like in New York, have done. They've been the Republican parties that have all been eliminated, all but been eliminated. It's much bigger than that. And the cultural piece is what you have to get right in order to win. And frankly, Trump has his finger so much more on the pulse of that than does the Republican Party, certainly the establishment piece of the Republican Party. It's the economy stupid plus. Not instead of, but plus culture.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
With over $255 million in dividends declared since inception, their record speaks for itself. At Mag Mutual, one of the leading providers of medical professional liability insurance, you're more than a policyholder, you're a policy owner. As an owner, they believe you should benefit from your company's success, which is why they strive to return as much as they can back to their policy owners. Mag Mutual policyholders have received annual dividends every year since 2007, and they are continually looking for ways to provide greater value to policy owners in the practice, business, and regulation of medicine. Additionally, they set aside millions on their financial statements exclusively for their Owner Circle loyalty program. Over 25,000 physicians and healthcare organizations are currently benefiting from Mag Mutual ownership. Are you? Visit them on the web at magmutual.com.
For more information about Mag Mutual in Illinois, please contact Dr. Shaw at Flagship Healthcare at 312-888-9248 or by email at info@flagshiphc.com. Visit their website at flagshiphc.com.
Hey, the golf season is in full swing, and you can still join us at our upcoming golf outing that is benefiting the 100 clubs of Chicago, Lake, McHenry, DuPage, and Will counties. Our morning shotgun is sold out, but we have some spots, some foursomes left for our 2 p.m. afternoon shotgun start. So join us in the afternoon on Monday, June 24th. At the Mistwood Golf Club in Romeoville. It's presented by Clear Financial Strategies. And many of you asked, do I need to be a business owner to golf with you? And the answer is no. Anyone can join us. So come on, call this number, 312-363-6680. Dan's been practicing. He's been playing a lot of rounds to kick some butt on Monday, June 24th. So again, reserve your foursome at 312-363-6680. And if you are a business owner or make the marketing decisions for your company, you can be a business benefactor. What that is you purchase a foursome for $1,196, and we give you 25 one-minute commercials to promote your business that will air right here. It's a $3,000 advertising value for just $1,196. It's the best radio advertising deal in all of Chicagoland. So call 312-363-6680. Again, 312-363-6680. Remember, a portion of the proceeds will benefit the 100 clubs that provide financial and educational assistance to the families of fallen first responders. It's a win-win. Call today, 312-363-6680. That's 312-363-6680. Or learn more at 560theanswer.com/golf.
When the world is watching and you need your logo perfectly printed on promotional items, you need the ultimate guarantee. You need certainty. To know for certain it'll be right the first time, on the right items, at a great price. You need the promotional product experts at 4imprint. Because as soon as something has your logo on it, it matters to you, your customers, your coworkers, and to us. From pens and caps to hot tech and popular brands, 4imprint's wide selection always changes to keep up with the latest trends. But there is one thing we've delivered for over 30 years that's timeless: certainty. Because the world is certainly watching. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. That's the number 4imprint.com. 4imprint. For certain.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Somebody gets Samurai Mike on the blower because the Baylor Commencement Prayer went off the rails. We'll have that in our latest edition of Campus Beat at 6:36.
And can Dan do it? The hardest to spell words in the English language. The problem is I can't pronounce them to see if he could spell them, but we're working on it. First, let's welcome back Mike, who took a day off on Friday. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Good to be back. Cloudy skies, 67 degrees. 80,000 homes and businesses in Ohio have no electricity this morning after a huge tornado tore through the area near Dayton late Monday night.
These houses is entirely destroyed. Somebody's roof is gone. I heard the other neighbor upstairs, they were crying when they came in to check their house. I don't think so they can even live in that house.
Road crews have been using snow plows this morning to shove debris off main streets and roads. More than 50 tornadoes were reported across 8 states on Memorial Day: Idaho, Colorado, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, Illinois, and Indiana, as well as Ohio. 2 victims are dead after a knife-wielding man went on a stabbing spree at a bus stop for school kids in Japan. More than a dozen are hurt. It happened in Kawasaki, not far from Tokyo. Most victims were school kids, as we said, and President Trump in Japan offering his own condolences this morning.
On behalf of the First Lady and myself, I want to take a moment to send our prayers and sympathy to the victims of the stabbing attack this morning in Tokyo. All Americans stand with the people of Japan and grieve for the victims and for their families.
A 12-year-old girl and 39-year-old man were killed. Kansas residents are fleeing their homes. Floodwaters are rising in Coffeyville this morning. Cleanup is underway here after storms hit the Chicago area on Memorial Day. Rain, hail, and high winds causing damage. No one in custody following a deadly triple shooting on Chicago's northwest side where one was killed. 2 men and a woman were walking early this morning on the 606 trail near the 1800 block of North Monticello Avenue when 3 unknown males approached. Suspects asked for gang affiliation before opening fire. One of the men died at the scene. A distinguished scientist is dead this morning in Santa Fe, New Mexico. You may have heard of physicist Murray Gell-Mann, but you certainly have heard of the particle that he identified. The Santa Fe Institute says the 1969 Nobel Prize winner in physics helped discover and classify subatomic particles. He's credited with naming one of the fundamental subatomic particles we know as quark. Gell-Mann was 89. Astros over the Cubs 6-5. Sox and Royals will play a game and a half today at Guaranteed Rate Field after their contest was suspended after rain on Memorial Day. The news service of Krylon Fusion, all-in-one spray. It bonds to most surfaces for maximum rust protection and excellent coverage. No sanding or priming necessary. Plus, it comes in a variety of colors so you can get the right finish in a single afternoon. Krylon, today we spray. 6:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and of Balance of Nature. We're changing America one life at a time.
I wish they would have me do a commercial. I'm from the New York area, and we don't trust anybody. I certainly didn't trust you guys at first. After all, you're like out of Utah. I was like, what is in Utah? Really? I listened to ESPN half the day, and I heard some little old man saying, I took fruits and veggies, and da-da-da-da. And I was so, when you're in pain, you will try anything. And I said, let me try it, but I need to tell you that I'm jogging now. I didn't think I'd ever be able to do that again.
Talk to a Balance of Nature health coach today and see if getting the nutrition from over 10 servings of fruits and vegetables can make a difference in your life. Use discount code CHICAGO to receive free shipping on every order. Call 800-2 822-468-7551 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
If you're near retirement or thinking about retiring, you probably have a lot of questions. How do you make your savings or 401k last? How much should you take out and when? You may be ready for retirement, but are your finances? I'm Edward Jones financial advisor John Rossini in Bartlett. You've done what it takes to get there. Now it's time to make the most of retirement. Stop in at Stearns and Route 59 or call 630-372-2926. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC, 630-372-2926.
Want to keep your AC from conking out? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an AC tune-up, ASAP. It can help pinpoint potential problems and even extend the life of your air conditioning system. How's that for a comforting thought? Right now, get cool savings on an AC tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Message and data rates may apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, this may be the last time you ever have to worry about hair loss. Because Bosley is the real deal. They're giving women and men their hair back permanently. Their real hair. All it takes to get started is a single text message. You'll get an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card when you text TRUST to 85850. Bosley will show you, for free, how great your hair could look. You'll also see, for free, why you're losing hair and how to get it back. Women and men all over the country trust Bosley because they're America's #1 hair restoration expert, ahead of the curve with the latest technology. And the best part? Bosley has permanent solutions to hair loss. You'll love what they'll do for your hair. So drop what you're doing long enough to send a text. Get your free information kit and gift card for $250 off by texting TRUST to 85850. Don't forget, that's TRUST to 85850.
A lost dog, not a lost cause. Read Catching Murphy, the latest book from the Associated Press, available now exclusively at Amazon.com.
It is 6:37. Just opened up the ComEd power outage map. Not a whole lot left that needs to be hooked up. A few homes in Palos Heights, Worth, Chicago Ridge, Evergreen Park, maybe Calumet Park. Other than that, things are looking pretty good on the ComEd outage map. How about the roads in the AM 560 traffic center? Here's Jim Telemonte.
The eastbound Reagan Tollway I-88 ramp to the southbound Tri-State 294 remains closed due to flooding. And Hillside Wolf Road is flooded between Washington and Randolph. Edens runs 20 minutes Lake Cook Junction outbound 19. Inbound Kennedy looking at 32 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 12 from Montrose, 8 to the Express. Outbound 11 minutes to Montrose, 42 to the airport. Crash is reported at Foster. Westbound 190 has delays as well. Mount Eisenhower, 40 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 32. Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 24 minutes from 95th. I-57, 22 minutes, 90 to the merge. Bishop 424. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, cloudy, showers or storms around today, high of 65. Currently 67. Next news coming up at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
They got the beat, the campus beat, the campus beat. Yeah, the campus beat.
Dan and Amy, boy, it used to be you'd have to worry about the commencement speaker. You get some politician or leftist academic or media type there and gives you the chapter and verse from the left. But how about the prayer? The prayer at Baylor University, no less?
At Baylor? That came under attack?
Here is the commencement prayer, a part of it, the relevant part, offered at Baylor University's 2019 commencement by Dan Freemeyer, who's a minister at Broadway Baptist Church in Fort Worth.
And God, give them the moral imagination to reject the old keys that we're trying to give them to a planet that we're poisoning by running it on fossil fuels and misplaced priorities. A planet with too many straight white men like me behind the steering wheel, while others have been expected to sit quietly at the back of the bus. But God, you are doing a new thing. Praise be, you are doing a new thing through these graduates.
What in the world?
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. It is commencement season at high school level as well as the collegiate level. You better cinch it up and hunker down for whatever may happen if the college you're going to is not Hillsdale or University of Dallas or a couple of others. You better be prepared for what may be inflicted upon you, starting with the prayer. Oh,
well,
goodness.
I gave the commencement prayer, but it was printed out on a sheet, and I just read the prayer. But clearly, he wrote his own prayer, and it was. I want to hear it again.
Well, two things. One is, how do you not know this guy is a clown when you select him to give the commencement prayer? I'm sure I don't know anything about this Dan Freemeyer or his congregation at Broadway Baptist Church in Fort Worth. Holy cow. But I suspect this isn't the first time that he has ventured into the world of leftist identity politics and junk science. I doubt it was the occasion of the Baylor commencement that he decided to hold forth on the issues for the first time. I doubt that. And the second thing, seriously, where's Mike Singletary when you need him? To tackle that guy on stage. That would have been great. That would have been appropriate. Remarkable. I mean, it really is remarkable. Baptist minister's prayer against straight white men. Were there straight white men in the audience? Are they the problem? Or are all the graduates, tomorrow's leaders, as the cliche follows?
Clearly, he was being self-serving, and he has an agenda. And he baffled, or he snuck by somebody to get in there and give the commencement prayer. You're right, though. How did they not know?
At least the Pope. I mean, the Pope. I'm looking at Greg from Schaumburg. He wants to talk about the Pope, but at least this graduation ceremony wasn't segregated. That's the new Quran thing, is to have segregated commencement ceremonies.
What?
Yeah. Oh, this has been happening for a while. Now it's happening all over the place. Black and white, gay and straight. Is that how we should do it?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment.
Brad Palumbo graduated from the University of Massachusetts Amherst, writing in at thefederalist.com. Why I refused to attend my college's LGBT graduation ceremony.
They had their own ceremony?
Yeah, these segregated ceremonies are happening everywhere.
Wow. Okay.
Is segregation? Is that e pluribus unum? That's the kind of basic principle of assimilation, right? Assimilation being acceptance. That's how you gain acceptance. Separate but equal. Wasn't there a court case? I don't know, Brown v. Board of Education, I think it was, overturned the doctrine of separate but equal that had stood for 5 decades prior, that allowed for institutionalized discrimination against black children. So we want to go back to that now because it's self-segregation, because the left is in charge is going to be better. Brad Palumbo writing, I realize just how far the LGBT left has strayed from the egalitarian mentality when I received a curious invitation from my administrators at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. The note invited me, a gay man, to attend a special rainbow graduation, an event supposedly hosted every year to honor our graduating seniors within the LGBT community. I wasn't flattered to receive this invitation. I was mortified. Self-segregated celebrations are the exact opposite of the egalitarian vision of gay rights I believe in, where all Americans ought to be treated the same, with sexual orientation little more than a footnote in our public life. The annual event regularly features keynote LGBT speakers attended by LGBT students and their guests. Awards are given out to LGBT student leaders, sympathetic staff, and program participants. Interestingly, a Spectrum Award is given to a student deemed most influential within the self-segregated LGBT residential community on campus. Palumbo continues, are we incapable of standing out from the student body on our own merits rather than our sexual proclivities? What's more, it reinforces the odd notion that sexuality alone is worth celebrating. No one should face discrimination or violence for his identity, but we also shouldn't act like the sheer act of being gay is an accomplishment. It really isn't.
Everybody's gay.
Even if some people do have to overcome additional obstacles due to their orientation. The type of approach that Amherst took, Massachusetts at Amherst, sets gay people back.
It sure does.
These kind of events, decorated with rainbows and featuring controversial progressive speakers, only make gay students stick out like a sore thumb. Mark in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, morning, guys. Really enjoy your show. Hey, I heard your little piece on what goes on at Baylor, and unfortunately, it even goes deeper than that. Our daughter just graduated, just finished up her sophomore year, but for freshman year orientation, my wife and I had to sit through probably an hour 15 minutes of the administration telling us, a whole auditorium of parents, on how not to stress out our students. And this whole thing started that, when you drop your student off here at Baylor, it's going to be a very traumatic experience. And, it's just our recommendation. You don't change their room or anything in their room, because when they come home, they're going to want to feel like they're still part of a family unit. And this is not an exaggeration. This went on for over an hour. And after I told my wife, this is insanity. This is nuts. But our daughter really liked it. Admittedly, she has had a good experience, but it goes deeper than what you just cited with this pastor. It's very troubling.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I have to imagine if this is going on in Texas, I shudder to think what's going on in some of these other schools, because, we sent our daughter to Baylor for a reason. She's very, very strong in her faith, and it was a good fit for her, but this is not what we expected at all.
Thanks for the call, Mark.
Anyway,
yeah.
Appreciate you guys bringing it up, and have a good day.
Thanks for the call, Mark. Appreciate it. From parent of a Baylor student, Andy in Hinsdale.
Yeah, we have a senior at Baylor also. Of course, very disappointed. The fault lies with the administration. Like you said, this guy is a clown. They should have never invited him. But it's an example that this is an ongoing conflict that you have to stay on top of. You can't sit back on your heels and just think that this cultural shift is going to work out well. You have to keep fighting the good fight, and that's what we're going to do. And I would imagine that the blowback is quite severe, because they're getting 3 letters from our family.
How was your son's experience at Baylor?
It's really been great, and it's one of the things that I brag on this school all the time, is the kids that you run into. They carry themselves in a different way. They address adults as adults, and he's had a great experience. And he started out at a school that he chose kind of a little bit because we have a history with the school, but he ended up absolutely loving the institution. But this is not the institution that we felt that it's not living up to what it should be.
Thanks for the call, Andy. We need to
benediction.
get Ken Starr back there, I guess.
Oh, yeah. But the benediction, it's a prayer intended to focus on the graduates as they leave, and not to, personify your own political agenda. And that's what this kid did. I'd be out of my mind if I was in that, watching that graduation and hearing that.
Those who applauded.
Yeah, who were those?
The students that applauded. Let me tell you something. You're applauding your own demise, culturally, professionally, and in every other way. There are going to be people that look back on this nonsense of cultural Marxism, and they're going to be very ashamed. They're going to be very regretful about being useful idiots, about cheering a commencement prayer
That denounces straight white men.
It's even beyond that. A commencement prayer that is all about power politics. Because that's what indulging identity politics is. It's power politics. And the PC folks that celebrate that are liars buying into lies, or useful idiots buying into lies, either way. You're going to look back on it. You're going to regret it. The same way those celebrating that Gillette ad we played at the top of the last hour, particularly as it pertains to how people treated their children or watched other people treat children. You're going to look back on it and regret what you supported or tacitly accepted. Amy and Huntley here on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Two things. First of all, the prayer. You know, when you're a minister of God, you speak for God. That's your role. And God is pretty clear in his word who he is.
No straight
and what he likes.
Amy, no straight white men are going to heaven. Those days are over.
No, wait, let me finish, because he is going to be held accountable for what he's done, and it's not going to be pretty, because he has put himself in a role to be an intermediary between God and people, and it's not going to be good when he gets there. But anyway, second thing is, who really cares about your sexuality? When you go to work and you do your job, does anybody really care what you do behind the bedroom door? I know I don't, as long as you do your job.
Well,
why does this have to be such a big identity thing?
Well, that's exactly what.
Look at me.
Thanks for the call, Amy. That's exactly the point that Brad Palumbo, this graduating senior at University of Massachusetts Amherst, made as a gay man, saying that I'm only a gay guy. Me being gay is not an accomplishment. It's not like the sum total of where I begin and end. What a concept that is. But that's not how he's treated. You know why? Because they don't care. The cultural Marxists control these elite institutions, including college, the university system. They don't care about Brad Palumbo as a kid. They care about him as the means to political ends. This is all politics. Everything about this is about political power. And if you don't understand that, you understand nothing about what's going on. John in Highland, Indiana.
Yeah, how you guys doing this morning? Real quick, I'd just like to bring up something I remember hearing from our bright scholar, Vice President Al Gore. He said once that e pluribus unum meant out of many, one. Out of one, many, I'm sorry. And that just kind of explains everything that's going on right now.
Sure.
That's the whole crux of the agenda.
Yeah, sure thing. We can redefine that, too. Thanks for the call. Redefine that Latin phrase while we're redefining everything else. Jim in Tampa, Florida.
Hey, good morning, guys. This entire segment makes the point that you made to Mike in the last segment. We love Mike, but this is it. Donald J. Trump, on a gut level, he gets all this. He's just got a born radar for all this. And folks like Tom, they're busy analyzing things intellectually, but it's not intellectual. It's deeper. It's on a more gut level. This is wrong. People get it. And even the people that are coming out with these opinions, like the fella at Amherst, or the opinion last week that came out in the New York Times, it's turning. I think it is, but I think your point. There was no economics discussed in this segment at all. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jim. Larry and Bartlett.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. I'd like to suggest a slightly different method of segregating the commencement ceremonies. The first one should be for those students who are graduating with degrees that will allow them to become productive members of society and pay all the taxes for all the morons. And the second category who are graduating with degrees that might allow them to become barristers.
All right. Thanks, Larry. Greg in Schaumburg.
As I've said before on your show, for all the parents that are about to send their kids to school, you absolutely must interview teachers and you must interview administrators before you send those kids, because to quote one of my high school teachers when he was commenting on philosophers who had really, bad theories, being stoned to death with popcorn, that's essentially what's going on in academia these days, just being stoned to death with popcorn.
Thanks for the call, Greg. We're all Straussians now, aren't we?
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Rich Thomason in for Lou Dobbs, who returns at midday today. Wall Street heads back to work, and Arkansas newspaper going digital in a big way. Those stories next.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt, and I couldn't pay my bills. I was feeling so bad. I got to a point where I needed some help. So I reached out and contacted Trinity.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976 to talk to a certified counselor.
They were able to take all of my different payments and put them all together.
Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
And they were actually able to work with my creditors. I've been able to pay off close to $15,000 in the last 18 months.
If your debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Stephanie, and I'm debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
It's back to work on Wall Street today following the 3-day Memorial Day weekend, and the Conference Board releases its Consumer Confidence Survey. The Arkansas Democrat-Gazette newspaper is taking the digital trend to a whole new level. The statewide paper is planning to publish an actual paper only on Sundays by the end of the year, but it is promising subscribers that if they keep paying the $36 a month subscription rate, it will give them a free iPad to view the digital version. The iPads will cost the Gazette ownership up to $12 million. Oil rose to $69 a barrel Monday, boosted by cuts in supply by OPEC. So far this year, Brent crude is up by about 29%, but oil industry analysts say the Memorial Day holiday kept prices from rising even more. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
The following statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Amber trials tested mild to moderate symptoms. Testimonial is based on 90 days of use. Results may vary. IRI US MULO, 52 weeks by UPC.
Hi, I'm Mary Lou Retton, and I want to talk to you about something I haven't liked to talk about until now, my menopause. All my life, I've had energy to win gold in '84. But when menopause hit me, with the hot flashes and the night sweats, I began to feel sluggish every day. That all changed when I discovered Amberen.
Amberen safely relieves 12 menopause symptoms by helping to restore your hormonal balance. Amberen is 100% drug-free, estrogen-free, and clinically tested. Amberen is America's #1 menopause relief supplement.
Thanks to Amberen, my fear of hot flashes is gone. My sheets aren't soaked every night, and my energy is back. Give Amberen a try and see what it can do for you. It works. It really works.
Hurry to your Walmart, Walgreens, Target, and other fine retailers nationwide and get Amberen today.
Hey guys, Ken here from Income Store. Did you know of the top 10 reasons an employee stays at a company for more than 2 years? The 7th reason is the pay or the salary. The first 6 reasons have nothing to do with money. Things like they feel part of a team, they know they belong, their voice is heard, they're respected. Also, employees go through 5 phases within a couple days to 6 months of any new position. Excitement, education, reality, doubt, then clarity. Did you know it's a manager's job to walk them to clarity as fast as possible? If you need to know these fundamental principles, did I just say that? I'm going to leave that in. If you need to know these fundamental principles, I can't say this. This is awesome. This is like a blooper roll. Hey, you know what? If you need tips and techniques like this to grow your business today, you got to check out door number 1 of Income Store. If you just need somebody to literally hold your hand and get you to the finish line, check out door number 2 of IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Sort of a theme of today's show, leftist overreach ensuring a Trump 2020 reelect and perhaps a GOP return to power in the House as well. Another example of this, feminist author Naomi Wolf. And she per her new book, gets challenged on air by a BBC presenter. We'll have that at 7:07.
And later, President Trump tweets about Jussie Smollett and Kim Foxx. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Illinois confirms its first West Nile positive mosquitoes. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
More tornado misery in the Midwest. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Our house is gone.
A tornado just hit our house.
She's in Ohio, where a large tornado tore through last night after first touching down in Indiana.
Please continue to look out for your neighbors, particularly anyone elderly or vulnerable, as crews assess this damage.
Dayton Mayor Nan Whaley, there's so much debris. Highway crews use snow plows to clear it. Catherine Bodak with Fox 19 TV outside one badly damaged home near Dayton.
Unfortunately for Jason is a principal here in the area. This is a month old. This house is brand new. Luckily, Jason and his wife and 2 kids, they made it to their safe spot on time. They have a little reading nook in their basement, and luckily their wife put that in, and it was a place for their kids to go, to be safe.
So far, there are only minor injuries, no deaths reported. Tens of thousands of homes and businesses lost power. An attack on elementary school girls lined up at a bus stop near Tokyo, Japan. A man with a knife in each hand screamed, "I will kill you," and started stabbing one after the other. He murdered 2, injured 17, then slashed his own throat, killing himself. President Trump offered his condolences just before ending his 4-day trip to Japan. Fox's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Dave, after a refueling stop in Anchorage, the president's now bound for Joint Base Andrews. Before he left, he paid a visit to the USS Wasp, docked at Tokyo Bay to greet troops with a Memorial Day message.
Memorial Day links every grateful American heart in eternal tribute to those brave souls who gave their last breath for our nation.
President Trump discussed a wide range of issues with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, including tensions with Iran and North Korea. He also expressed hopes of reaching a trade deal with Japan and China. Dave.
This is Fox News.
Cloudy skies, 67 degrees. It is 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Cleanup is underway after storms pounded Chicago and the suburbs on Memorial Day. Rain, hail, high winds causing some damage, downing trees and power lines, flooding in Naperville. Up to 2 inches of rain fell in Oak Lawn as well, and the National Weather Service confirms 3 small tornadoes did touch down in Champaign County. A person is dead after being shot by Joliet police. Authorities say officers were called out early yesterday on a report of a domestic battery in progress at a house that was on fire on Justice Lake Drive. They found an offender armed with a handgun and holding a hostage. That suspect then shot at officers before they returned fire, killing him. New Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot spent the weekend appearing at community events and joining police at crime scenes.
I wanted to understand what had happened. I wanted to be there and present for the people in the community that were gathered. And I also wanted to show support for our officers who were out there investigating.
No one is in custody this morning following a deadly triple shooting on the northwest side. 2 men and a woman were on the 606 trail in the 1800 block of North Monticello when the shooting took place. One of the men died at the scene. The Illinois House, by a slim margin, has put a graduated income tax proposal on the ballot. They needed 71 votes. They got 73. The final vote, 73 to 44, split along party lines. The House voting to put the tax proposal on the ballot in November of 2020. You may recall last week we told you that Argo Community High School in Summit had its graduation canceled because of threats posted on social media. It will hold its graduation ceremony tonight. The ceremony was rescheduled after threats were made. School officials say a juvenile was arrested after a threat was posted on Snapchat May 19th. A second juvenile was taken into custody 2 days later after a separate post. Astros over the Cubs 6-5 in Houston in spite of home runs by Rizzo, Almora Jr., and Addison Russell. Sox and Royals will finish their game this afternoon that was delayed yesterday and then have another contest on tap tonight. The news service of Krylon Fusion, all in one spray. It bonds to most surfaces for maximum rust protection and excellent coverage. No sanding or priming necessary. Plus, it comes in a variety of colors so you can get the right finish in a single afternoon. Krylon. Together we spray. 7:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher doesn't understand the Democrat leadership.
Listen, this is a tactic that the left is using and the Democrats are now employing. Double down. The best defense is a good offense. Rather than be on defense, I guess, Pelosi and company are figuring, let's go at them. The problem is they're doing it at the expense of those who suffered from the Holocaust. What a time.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
At Dell, we know running a small business takes hard work. As a thank you, for all of Small Business Month, we're offering up to 45% off select computers with Intel Core processors. Plus, get additional savings when you call a Dell Small Business Technology Advisor. Call 877-BUY-DELL today. That's 877-BUY-DELL. Additional savings valid May 6th through 30th at 8 a.m. Eastern on select computers from customer calls Dell. Excludes Dell Canvas, PowerEdge T30, and select order codes.
We've all read some surprising online reviews, whether scoping out a spot for vacation or trying to find the best happy hour. So why should finding software for your business be any different? With over 850,000 software reviews, make an informed decision with Capterra. Capterra is the leading free online resource to help you find the best business software. From applicant tracking to workflow software, read reviews in over 700 categories from users just like you. Join the 4 million people that use Capterra each month. Find the right software today with Capterra. That's CAPTERRA.com/radio.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
At Farmers Insurance, we know the sound of a perfect hot air balloon landing. And a less than perfect one. Seen it, covered it. Talk to Farmers.
We are Farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
7:07 in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Reagan Tollway eastbound I-88 traffic's heavy from 83 to the Eisenhower. The ramp to the southbound Tri-State has reopened. It had been closed due to flooding. Delays on the eastbound Adams Tollway, Beverly Road to Barrington Road, past Lee to the Tri-State. Northbound Tri-State is jammed. Cicero to 87th, the crash in the left lane. It's heavy from the Hinsdale Oasis to 31st, and from Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Northbound Veterans Memorial, it's tight. Butterfield to St. Charles. Edens from Lake Cook to Montrose. Travel time is 25 minutes. Kennedy, 45 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. About Eisenhower, 42 minutes from 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 53 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 30 minutes. 95th to downtown. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
In our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center this morning, here's our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, skies will be mostly cloudy. Shower and thunderstorm, the high 65. A shower and thunderstorm tonight, low 51. For tomorrow and Thursday, cloudy with a shower and thunderstorm. The high tomorrow 68, Thursday's high 67. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
67 at O'Hare. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So, how leftism loses. This was the gist of a piece of the weekend by Ross Dothad in the New York Times. We've given a couple of examples of what he's suggesting and what I've suggested in more bright colors, frankly. than he has previously, which is it is the not just the overreach, it's the intrinsic quality of cultural Marxism. It can yield to nothing. It will offer no compromise. It will cede no ground. It must roll up anybody who disagrees. And it doesn't matter whether you present it sharply the way that Reparation H does, or in a room temperature sort of way like Mayor Pete does. It's all of the same. Or a sing-songy way like AOC does. Same thing.
Coming hot.
Same thing. And so Ian Bremmer is a good example of that. He's the Time columnist who made up a quote about Trump over the weekend that he has subsequently apologized for. That's a good example of what I'm talking about. Feeding the belief that has much basis in evidence that the D.C. press corps is not to be trusted, that they will do anything and say anything and engage in the worst kind of dishonesty in order to advance their politics and take down this president.
Journalism 101. You don't make up quotes. I mean, he should be fired immediately for what he did. I don't care that he apologized. The hyperbole and the inserting yourself to get attention or to prove your own point, to promote your agenda. I mean, that is just such a fireable offense. I'm surprised he's still with the organization. But
right, as if Time has standards. So he's a good example of that, as is Naomi Wolf. Naomi Wolf is a longtime feminist author. She rose to some prominence in the early 90s with a book called The Beauty Myth. Mm-hmm. She's got another book out. It's called Outrages: Sex, Censorship, and the Criminalization of Love. And she looks at the same-sex relations in the Victorian era, examines same-sex relations in the Victorian era, and how they were criminalized, how people were punished for having gay relationships. Because you have to continue to feed the identity politics machine. You have to continue to come up with real or perceived or fabricated wrongs of the past that need to be rectified in the present. So a real wrong of the past, slavery, needs reparations in the present. The solidarity and marginality crowd needs to continue to have a rationale, more scholarship to persuade, brainwash, gaslight in some cases, those into believing that there are these historical wrongs that have never been remedied, and they should be today by us, and that's an organizing principle. There's a problem with Naomi Wolf's book, though, and ironically, it's probably surprisingly to Naomi Wolf, the problem was exposed by a BBC presenter named Matthew Sweet, who she sat down with for an interview about her book. He did a little bit of research on her book's thesis about the criminalization of love in the Victorian era in England. And this is how that went.
You get sentences, as I mentioned, of penal servitude for 10 or 15 years. And I found like several dozen executions, but that was, again, only looking at the Old Bailey records and the crime tables.
Several
regionally.
dozen executions.
Correct. And this corrects a misapprehension that is in every website, that the last man was executed for sodomy in Britain in 1835.
I don't think you're right about this. One of the cases that you look at that's salient in your report is that of Thomas Silver. It says teenagers were now convicted more often. Indeed, that year, which is 1859, 14-year-old Thomas Silver was actually executed for committing sodomy. The boy was indicted for an unnatural offence. Guilty, death recorded. This is the first time the phrase unnatural offence entered the Old Bailey records. Thomas Silver wasn't executed. Death recorded. I was really surprised by this, and I looked it up. Death recorded is what's in, I think, most of these cases that you've identified as executions. It doesn't mean that he was executed. It was a category that was created in 1823 that allowed judges to abstain from pronouncing a sentence of death on any capital convict whom they considered to be a fit subject for pardon. I don't think any of the executions you've identified here actually happened.
Well, that's a really important thing to investigate.
Yeah.
What is your understanding of what death recorded means?
Death recorded, this is also from, I've just read you the definition of it there from the Old Bailey website. But I've got here a newspaper report about Thomas Silver and also something from the prison records that show the date of his discharge.
The prisoner was found guilty and sentence of death was recorded.
Yeah.
But the jury recommended the prisoner to mercy on account of his youth.
See, I think this is a kind
of detail.
When I found this, I didn't really know what to do with it because I think it's quite a big problem with your argument. Also, it's the nature of the offence here. Thomas Silver committed an indecent assault on a 6-year-old boy.
So the premise of her book, the thesis of her book, is entirely wrong. And a little bit of research by this BBC presenter Matthew Sweet, looking at what death recorded meant in the historical context, takes it apart, just like that. Oh, and by the way, while she was using this De Silva guy as some example of someone being persecuted for being gay, the underlying crime was ignored, which was a assault of a 6-year-old boy. This is what, this book has been out for a bit. She's making the rounds on her book tour.
Probably didn't see that interview coming, did she? That line of questioning.
What about?
They're going to pull the book from the shelves because it's not accurate.
When the scholarship doesn't matter. Directionally right, not specifically right. Ocasio-Cortez 101. If it sounds true, then it is true. Michael Wolff 101. These are the new standards. If it's advancing the right political cause, the right and desired reading of history, regardless of the truth, regardless of the supporting evidence, in point of fact, even if it flies in the face of the supporting evidence, that's what matters. Because you have to feed the solidarity and marginality machine. You have to continue to identify things over which we are to be outraged, that they happened, so that they can be remedied in the present by ascribing power to those who rally around them for the imposition of their will against the old white men, the old straight white men, the old way of doing business. All of those benefits and punishments need to be meted out in real time. And you can't do that if you don't keep creatively making the same argument, even if you're making one that is totally specious, as Naomi Wolf's entire book, just deconstructed by Matthew Sweet in under 2 minutes. Oh, that's really important. Yeah. Maybe you want to have a conversation with your editor. This is what our friend Burgess Owens is railing against over the weekend. Burgess Owens, the NFL All-Pro, right? We've had him on the show. Played for the Jets and the Raiders, Super Bowl champion. I didn't earn slavery reparations, and I don't want them. No, Burgess Owens is black. My great-grandfather, Silas Burgess, came to America shackled in the belly of a slave ship. He was sold on an auction block in Charleston, South Carolina, to the Burgess plantation. Orphaned by 8, he was fortunately surrounded by elder slaves who, though physically chained, mentally envisioned themselves as free men. They escaped, taking young Silas with them, making their way to West Texas via the southern route of the Underground Railroad. Silas became a risk-taking entrepreneur and the owner of 102 acres of farmland, which he cultivated and paid off within 2 years. I proudly carry the name of my first American ancestor, who, like millions of others drawn or brought to our country, struggled past overwhelming obstacles to live the American dream. His great-grandfather Silas founded a black church, the first black elementary school in his town. He was a proud Republican, devout Christian, the patriarch of a large family, and a pillar of the community. He was proud and industrious and taught his children to be the same. Burgess Owens goes on. Now, because of him, a bunch of Democrat presidential hopefuls want to give me money. Think about that. Never mind that like Silas, I'm an entrepreneur who has lived the American dream, having received a world-class education, built businesses, raised a remarkable family, and unlike most white Americans, earned a Super Bowl ring. Yeah, he's got that right. Because of work I've never done, stripes I've never had, under whip I'll never know, Kamala Harris, Beto O'Rourke, Elizabeth Warren, and others want to give me free stuff. Never mind that it will be taken from others who also dreamed, work, and sacrificed to earn it. I wonder what great-grandpa Silas would think. No, you don't. You don't wonder, Burgess. See how silly their position is? Insane it is? As Thomas Sola said about this, so yeah, we don't. So how this works in the modern context is people aren't responsible for their own actions. We don't hold people responsible for their own actions, but they're supposed to be responsible for actions of people they never met. Andrew in Aurora, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, on this subject, I wanted to point out a little bit about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, her claims about the cauliflower, slavery, all this stuff. If you look at her, I did a little bit of research on the genetics of the modern-day Puerto Ricans. The maximum amount of indigenous blood in modern-day Puerto Ricans genetically is about 15%. The rest ranges from 65 to 80% either Spaniards, which are Mediterranean colonialists, descendants of the conquistadors, or black African slaves. And if you look at, specifically, just look at photos of her father, and the genetics are largely based on how they self-identify. Most Puerto Ricans either identify as Afro or white. And it's pretty clear that, at least on her father's side, he's pretty white, which would put, at a rough estimate, at minimum about 65% of her genetics as descendants of the Spanish conquistadors, the ones who have perperpetrated these crimes against the indigenous people.
Well, yeah,
the ones who brought cauliflower over to the Americas.
Okay.
They brought the cauliflower.
What you're saying
the
is
full circle.
I'm raising conquistadors.
Thanks, Andrew. Thank you. No, I love the idea, right, the colonial cauliflower she's complaining about was brought by her ancestors. He did a nice full circle there. But yeah, the Sweeter Rican, I guess.
Yeah, well, we got their DNA tested, and they're both Northern African and Spanish. So they have some slave blood in them, and they have some Spanish in them.
What percentage?
18.
Right.
They're 5% Native American. We're still trying to come up with a tribe name, by the way.
It doesn't matter.
It
right?
doesn't.
I mean, because Elizabeth Warren is 1024th Cherokee. She's Cherokee. She identifies as Cherokee. So AOC is whatever, a minority percentage, Puerto Rican versus Spaniard versus. Well, so what? That's how she identifies. That's right. I mean, Cory Booker identifies as having Gazoo on his shoulder, imaginary friend. I mean, all these people are fakes. They're just all fakes. Beto O'Rourke, fake Latina. And I do mean Latina. I mean, right? It doesn't matter. I mean, that's the whole Naomi Wolf thing. I have a conclusion I want to promote. Now let's work backward and let's come up with creative stories to tell in advance of the conclusion that we want to promote and, frankly, emblazon upon the minds of the electorate. I mean, it's not quite historically accurate. I made the whole thing up. What's the difference? John on the South Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about reparations in relation to South Africa. They have that going on where they're trying to do land reform right now, and I just feel like it's a slippery slope what we got going on here, and then it could end up looking like that where everyone hates the white people there, and they're trying to seek retribution for something people have never done who are alive now for what people did years before. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, thanks for the call, John. I mean, there's no doubt that all of these policies of the leftists are vicious in nature. This is all about retribution for wrongs that are the wrongs that were committed, but against those who didn't commit them, or wrongs imagined, wrongs manufactured. These are barbaric people. Some are sentimental barbarians, others are just barbarians.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When the world is watching and you need your logo perfectly printed on promotional items, you need the ultimate guarantee. You need certainty. To know for certain it'll be right the first time, on the right items, at a great price. You need the promotional product experts at 4imprint. Because as soon as something has your logo on it, it matters to you, your customers, your coworkers, and to us. From pens and caps to hot tech and popular brands, 4imprint's wide selection always changes to keep up with the latest trends. But there is one thing we've delivered for over 30 years that's timeless: certainty. Because the world is certainly watching. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. That's the number 4imprint.com. 4imprint. For certain.
The golf season is in full swing, and guess what? You can still join us at our upcoming golf outing that is benefiting the 100 clubs of Chicago, Lake, McHenry, DuPage, and Will counties. Our morning shotgun is sold out, but we have some foursomes left for our 2 p.m. afternoon shotgun. So join us in the afternoon on Monday, June 24th at the Mistwood Golf Club in Romeoville, presented by Clear Financial Strategies. Now, many of you ask, do I need to be a business owner to golf? No, you don't. Anyone can join us this year. Just call 312-363-6680 to reserve your foursome. Again, that's 312-363-6680. And if you do own a business, listen up. We've got our business benefactor program. Purchase that foursome for $1,196, and you'll receive 25 one-minute commercials to promote your business right here on AM 560. It's a $3,000 advertising value for just $1,196. And don't forget, a portion of the proceeds will benefit the 100 clubs that provide financial and educational assistance to the families of fallen first responders. It's a win-win. Call today, 312-363-6680, or learn more at 560theanswer.com/golf, and we'll see you on the first tee.
What do you do to relax?
Well, play golf.
Ah, it's a great game.
Yeah.
How often do you get out?
Well, let's see. Never. Yeah, never.
Are your windows needy?
Call Crumweedy.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. If you need windows, call the exterior experts, Crumweedy. Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Crumweedy run a third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland exteriors since 1953. For them, it's all about trust. They truly share your values. Why windows from Crumweedy? Crumweedy windows are not offered anywhere else in Chicagoland. They're exclusive. That's why they can offer a lifetime material and labor installation guarantee. Lifetime! That's a great investment for your home. Windows from Crumweedy are Energy Star rated, unlike most other windows. Also, the vinyl windows are 100% virgin vinyl. You're getting quality. Windows with a lifetime material and labor installation. If your windows are needy,
call Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. That's 630-595-8020. Just remember this, windowsareneedy.com. Windowsareneedy.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Bob Aument, a founding partner of the law firm of Dassman & Aument and longtime personal customer of Signature Bank. Our firm recently left one of the larger banks to bank with Signature Bank, and it's been a refreshing change. With Signature Bank, we've been able to tailor banking solutions that fit the specific needs of our firm. Beyond that, Signature Bank is responsive, efficient, and timely in meeting those needs. If I have a request, I pick up the phone and talk to Mick O'Rourke, not someone at a phone bank thousands of miles away. Dassman & Aument needed more than what the larger banks offer, and we found that with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Memorial Day weekend violence, 5 dead, 33 shot and wounded. Where was Lori the Lightfoot fighting crime? We'll ask Kevin Graham, FOP president, at 7:37.
And later, forget words with Proft. We now have words for Proft to spell. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is the one, the only, a must-missed man on Friday. Here's Mike Scott.
67 degrees. Skies are cloudy, and 2 victims are dead after a knife-wielding man went on a stabbing spree near a children's bus stop in Japan. More than a dozen are hurt. It happened in the city of Kawasaki, not far from Tokyo. Most of the victims, again, were school children, and President Trump offered his condolences while on tour nearby of a Japanese naval station.
On behalf of the First Lady and myself, I want to take a moment to send our prayers and sympathy to the victims of the stabbing attack this morning in Tokyo. All Americans stand with the people of Japan and grieve for the victims and for their families.
A 12-year-old girl, a 39-year-old man were killed in the mass stabbing. The suspect, a man in his 50s, stabbed himself in the neck and later died. More than 80,000 homes and businesses in Ohio have no electricity this morning after a huge tornado tore through the area near Dayton late last night.
I've actually been with Dayton for almost 31 years. And this is the first significant tornado damage that we've experienced since I've been on the job.
Dayton Fire Department Chief Jeff Payne says the biggest threat of tornadoes may resume later today, all the way from Kansas City into the Ohio River Valley. The head of the San Francisco Police Union says their chief is digging in his heels amid an ongoing controversy. Tony Montoya is president of the San Francisco Police Officers Association. He's calling for the chief, William Scott, to step down over a recent raid. He spoke with the chief on Sunday.
Based on how the conversation went, I had no reason to believe that he would be stepping down. And based on my limited communications with the mayor's staff, I have no indication that the mayor is going to be doing anything with the chief anytime soon.
The scandal involves a raid on a journalist's home earlier this month. The freelance reporter had acquired a police report about a public defender's death. The union boss says the chief has reversed his earlier support for the raid and is now trying to make a sergeant a scapegoat. Authorities investigating a deadly paddleboat accident in Arlington Heights. That boat flipped over on Lake Terramere, killing a 44-year-old man. No one in custody following a deadly triple shooting on Chicago's northwest side. 2 men and a woman were walking on the 606 trail when 3 unknown males approached and then opened fire. A law that would allow some military service records to be made public has been passed by the Illinois House. The measure, previously passed by the Illinois Senate, passed unanimously. Current law allows only the service member's son or daughter to obtain military service records. Now it's up to the governor to sign off on that measure. Astros over the Cubs 6-5. White Sox and Royals will resume their game this afternoon at guaranteed rate. That was suspended yesterday because of rain, and then play another. The news service of Krylon Fusion. All-in-one spray, a paint that bonds to most surfaces for maximum rust protection and excellent coverage. No sanding or priming necessary on surfaces. Plus, it comes in a variety of colors, so you can get the right finish in a single afternoon. Krylon. Today we spray. 7:33, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I think the election next year is going to be damn close.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Let me tell you something right now. If you think Donald Trump is going to run away with this, you're crazy. If you want Trump to win, you better pay attention to what these Democrats are doing this next year and a half. I don't tell you what you want to hear. I tell you what I think.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights, starting at 5, right before Larry Elder at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and formulator of Balance of Nature. We're changing America, one life at a time.
All the years I spent with junky vitamins, it did nothing, and these vitamins are just like the best in the whole world. I don't take anything else other than them. When I first started, I was just very, always fatigued and tired. Within 2 days, I felt like a new person. I felt like I was in a different body. I listen all the time on the radio when I'm in the car with the commercials about balance of nature, and it's really true. Everything really, really works. So I am sold.
Through Memorial Day weekend, you can receive a $20 discount and free shipping on any first preferred order of Balance of Nature. Again, this special radio offer will only be available through May 27th. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Trees provide us with many benefits: clean air, energy cost savings, and improved aesthetics, just to name a few. However, if trees are not managed properly, they can wind up costing us more than the benefits provide. The mission of Graph Tree Care is to maximize the benefits of your trees while helping minimize costs, risk, and liability. Graph Tree Care is the leader in urban forest management, tree inventory, and tree risk management. Working with over 30 municipalities, 50 park districts, and hundreds of homeowners associations, Graph Tree Care uses a tech-based platform to keep track of your trees in real time. They use the system to map, monitor, and plan for your tree population. Graph Tree Care will maximize the benefits and minimize the costs and risks of your trees in Illinois or Indiana. Go to graphtreecare.com and schedule a free consultation and review of your current tree management plan. Learn about safety and savings for your municipality, park district, or HOA. Go to graphtreecare.com and schedule a free consultation. graphtreecare.com.
736. The AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Westbound Indiana Toll Road traffic is heavy this morning. Kennedy Avenue to Wolf Lake. See delays on the northbound Veterans Memorial Tollway from I-55 most of the way to 63rd Street and from the Reagan Tollway to 22nd. Reagan Tollway delays are 25 to Yola, 83 to the Eisenhower. Adams Tollway 25 to Barrington and past Lee to the Tri-State. The northbound Tri-State is heavy. Cicero to 87th, crash in the left lane. And in pockets from 75th most of the way to the Toohey Toll Plaza. Edens runs 22 minutes like Cook to Montrose. Kennedy, 49 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Heavier in the Express. Eisenhower, 45 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 30 minutes from 95th. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. From our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, cloudy, showers, and storms around today, high of 65. Currently 67. Next news coming up at 8, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Updating those numbers I gave you before Mike Scott's newscast in terms of the weekend carnage in Chicago.
Yeah, now 7 killed and 39 shot.
And again, the advertisement was that Lori the Lightfoot would be donning her cape and going out to slay the criminal element.
Well, she did. She rode along with police officers Saturday night and responded with them to that shooting on the south side where a majority of the homicides took place.
I hope she was secure in her child seat in the back of the squad car during the ride-along. For more on this, we're pleased to be joined again by our friend Kevin Graham, president of the Chicago FOP. Kevin, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, Kevin, can you hear us?
Hello, Kevin.
There he is.
Hello, phone lines. Kevin Graham, going once.
Yes.
Oh, we got him.
Yes,
okay.
hello.
There we go. Hey, Kevin, sorry. Technical difficulties.
No problem.
Yeah. So anyway, this weekend's Memorial Day weekend violence, as we just mentioned, 7 dead, 39 shot. A concentration of the dead and wounded on a West Side housing project, but nonetheless, these are individual lives that are lost or irreparably changed. And so what are we to do about this other than shrug our shoulders?
First of all, it's sad when you have 39 people shot in a weekend in a city in America. That is a tragedy any way you want to look at it.
Yeah.
My feeling is that Morale in this police department is at an all-time low. There are ways to pick up the morale, namely with a contract that's been expired July 1st for 2 years. And there is a number of things that we can do to turn this around. We need a prosecutor that prosecutes. We need people that are going to stand up and take responsibility for their actions. We need a mayor that's going to support the police department, and we need those things, and that will turn around the violence in the city.
Well, things, have gotten better. Think about Memorial Day weekend in 2016. Remember that? We had 71 people shot. Remember that?
Right.
And six of them fatally.
Worse.
So what do you think? Mayor Lightfoot, she's obviously this is her first week on the job. What do you think so far? And what do you think of her doing the ride-along on Saturday night?
Well, she was out in the 6th District. I was out in the 7th District and in the 3rd District, making sure that our members knew that their union was with them. And certainly I appreciate the fact that she's out showing that she wants to see what goes on in the police department. We need to get to where we've got a contract and the support. We've got a consent decree, mostly based on a report that she wrote. And she wrote a report that said that there was a code of silence. And I've said all along, I don't know of one. So
that report said worse than
I don't
that.
know.
I'm not to interrupt, but that report said the Chicago Police Department is a inherently racist institution. That's what it said.
That is a very sad state of affairs when she looks at the police department that way. And let me tell you something. Our members are not racist. Can you find somebody who is? I'm sure you can. But our members are not racist, and I think one of the things that is missed is not just the number of officers who are black and Hispanic and other, but that so much of our culture has changed that many of our members are have biracial families now, and that fact seems to be left out. In so many of these statistics. And when you look, our members are vastly different than they were just 10 years ago, and certainly different from 20 years ago.
Well, what's your interaction been with Mayor Lightfoot to this point?
None.
Well, yeah, she didn't speak too kindly of the FOP when you guys responded to her hiring her own security operator and not using the Chicago Police Department. Pretty much just saying that you would, I'm paraphrasing here, but that you guys complain about everything, so this is nothing new.
We're off to a good start.
The mayor has spent her the mayor has spent her entire career complaining about the police. She was at OPS. She was the head of the police board. That's been her job. And to say that we are complaining, I think we've been right on the money on everything we have complained about. And we only have to go to Kim Fox. We were the first ones to say, hey, this stinks. There's something wrong here. That was before the charges were ever dropped against Jesse Smollett. Mm-hmm. We were on top of every single problem that's gone along. We have said this consent decree could cost the taxpayers well over $500 million. And we've said, why don't you just sit down? We can figure this out. We can have collective agreements that would continue on, that we can actually fix things instead of a checklist. But the city didn't want to do that. So now we not only have that big price tag, we also have a price tag for a police academy, which they've only budgeted $100 million for. Los Angeles Academy cost $750 million. New York's was $1.2 billion. So I don't know what kind of a academy they're going to build, and it's going to be combined with the fire department. So they got a heck of a price, I guess.
I look at the CWB Chicago feed because they follow the scanners and they report on a lot of small stuff that turns out to be big stuff. I don't know if you're a acolyte of the broken windows theory of policing, but it's just little things like a video rolling as man punches out Boys Town nightclub window on Sunday evening. Police say he was ticketed, sent to a local hospital. Man accused of punching 70-year-old clerk during a store robbery that netted him a bottle of Hennessy gets probation after pleading guilty to a lesser included charge and being fined $50 for the Hennessy. We've documented and recounted many other examples of pleading down much more serious criminal offenses and repeat offenders of serious criminal offenses, violent offenses before. So, I mean, I know there's a lot of focus on Smollett, and that's justified. But all of this other stuff, too, about real crimes, including some violent crimes, and you're just turnstiling them right back on the street. So, to me, that's so much more of an indictment on Fox and potentially Lightfoot. We'll see what she does. Because, remember, the argument about not prosecuting Smollett was we got to focus all our resources on violent criminals. We got to get violent criminals off the street. We got to make sure neighborhoods are safe. Well, that's not what they're doing.
Well, and I think you just have to go back a month or two when the police chiefs from both the north, west, and south suburban Cook County all came here to FOP, asked for our help because they're frustrated with Kim Foxx and the prosecution. It is a revolving door at 26th Street and at other courthouses throughout the county, and they want criminals to be kept in jail. And it's extremely hard to try and get a handle on crime when there doesn't seem to be any consequences for the crimes that they've already committed.
Yeah, when she let Jussie Smollett go, that was a message to everyone saying, do whatever you want to do. And it's not a capacity issue, too, at 26 and Cal, because Sheriff Tom Dart, I spoke with him, and he said, no, we have plenty of room. So I don't know what is her motivation for just letting violent criminals back out on the street. Do you?
It's a philosophy, isn't it?
It is her philosophy, and it is a philosophy among progressives who, progressives complain about the police. They don't offer solutions, but they complain, and they want to try and tell people, oh no, they just had a bad upbringing. They need a chance. People are accountable for their actions, and if they're not held accountable, then the law doesn't mean anything.
I'll tell you, this is an important point that I want to emphasize because it speaks to the city that works, and we're so pragmatic and we're so solution-oriented. What you have now, Lori Lightfoot recounting some of them, what you have now in positions of authority, both at City Hall on the 5th floor, Cook County Board President, Cook County State Attorney, you have ideologues. These are ideologues, and they are not interested in practical solutions. They're interested in advancing their ideology, their philosophy of how society should be ordered, regardless of the results. And so, I mean, yeah, I think what you said, Kevin, is an understatement. Yeah, you don't hold criminals accountable, you're going to get more criminal activity. They're not dumb. They understand that you're handcuffing the police rather than allowing the police to handcuff the criminals. Is that not right?
Oh, absolutely. And you can turn this on the police all you want, but the reality is we are out there to protect the people of the city of Chicago. We want to do that. We need help from the mayor and from city council to give us the tools that we need to arrest people and keep them in jail.
Is there
the people of the city of Chicago can walk around and safe?
Is there anybody on the city council other than guys that have been first responders like Napolitano that you guys can ally with to try and put pressure on her if she's not going to be proactive in her engagement with you?
Well, yes, there are. I think tomorrow is the first city council meeting, and we're going to see how many of those people are standing with Mayor Lightfoot, how many people are going to oppose her, and on what grounds. So I think tomorrow is going to be the real interesting part as to where the aldermen lie in this controversy. So let's hope that they stand up for the people of the city of Chicago and look out for the people of Chicago's best interests, along with the police department. But I think tomorrow's city council meeting, I think people should be watching.
And with this pending contract, what are some points of contention?
Well, they want to put in what's called a discipline matrix, and there really is no reason for doing it other than they want to say that they are cracking down on police officers, and the reality is the complaints about police officers are down. we are doing exactly what we're supposed to. I mean, there's silly stuff out there, and what I mean by that is there's things about lost body cameras. Occasionally a radio is lost when in a foot pursuit, things like that. But in terms of real complaints about the police, they're down. Putting in a discipline matrix, which really is just to hammer the police officer trying to do his best, we're against. We are trying to illustrate that. I'm not trying to negotiate the contract in the media, but that is one of a number of things that they're trying to implement. And they want to do it unilaterally, and we're not going to let them.
I'm glad to hear that before police are arresting a violent criminal, they're making sure to ask what that person's preferred pronoun is. That's great to hear. That's really going to increase the peace on the streets. I know that was very important to the mayor. Let me just ask you this too, and I hate to preordain anything that's macabre, but if nothing changes in terms of where the morale is at and where the political culture is at and the respective civilian political leadership's backing of police, are we or are we not in for a long and bloody summer in Chicago?
I'm always the person that believes the glass is half full. However, we had a weekend that showed that there were, based on the numbers I heard on your show, 39 people shot, 7 dead, and it rained half the weekend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you had 1,200 extra police officers out on the streets. I saw cops everywhere on Michigan Avenue, North Avenue Beach. I mean, they're everywhere you turn.
I think we can do all. I think we can all do that math. Yeah.
I backed up some officers that responded to some kids running into Walgreens trying to grab things and take off. I was backing up an officer on that, and believe me, everybody was busy and everybody was working over the weekend. And I got to say this: our men and women of the Chicago Police Department are some of the most outstanding law enforcement officers in the country, and they work their butts off every single night to try and keep the people of the city of Chicago safe.
He is Kevin Graham, president of Chicago FOP. Kevin, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bye. He joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Dr. Howard, founder and formulator of Balance of Nature. We're changing America one life at a time.
I wish they would have me do a commercial. I'm from the New York area, and we don't trust anybody. And I need to tell you, I certainly didn't trust you guys at first. After all, you're like out of Utah. I was like, what is in Utah? Really? Then I heard some little old man saying, it's not fruits and veggies and da-da-da-da. And I was so, when you're in pain, you will try anything. And I said, let me try it. But I need to tell you that I'm jogging now. I didn't think I'd ever be able to do that again.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. For a limited time, all new preferred customers will receive an additional 15% discount and free shipping on your first Balance of Nature order. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
The school year is rapidly coming to an end, and maybe you're looking back at this past year and you aren't too happy with your child's school experience. Well, now is the perfect time to start thinking about doing something different this fall. Don't send your child back to a school that you just aren't happy with. Start thinking about sending your child to a private school at half the regular price, thanks to halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find local private schools throughout Chicagoland offering vouchers for a full year of tuition at half the price with no catch. Find a school near you, purchase the tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. It's that simple. Halfpriceschools.com has schools located across Chicagoland, including Schaumburg Christian, Westminster Christian in Elgin, Kingswood Academy in Darien, Midwestern Christian Academy in Chicago, Covenant Christian in Aurora, Christian Liberty Academy in Arlington Heights, and Calvin Christian in South Holland. And check out the results I tweeted of what's happening with the academic performance in Florida K-12 schools, thanks to opportunity scholarships like these effectively offered by Half Price halfpriceschools.com. Make private school affordable for your family for the first time this year. These vouchers will sell out. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. That's halfpriceschools.com.
Never thought you'd make it, did you? Seems like just yesterday you were fresh out of school, barely making ends meet. Life gets busy. Years start flying by. You got married, bought a house, kids came along. Before you knew it, your new name was Grandpa. And now, retirement's almost here. Are you ready? Join Jack Taboda and the team from Taboda & Associates for an informational workshop. Learn ways to protect your money from the next stock market downturn. Learn ways to keep your assets away from unnecessary taxation. Learn how to get the most out of your Social Security benefit. Pick the day that works best for you. Go to Taboda.com, that's TEBODA.com, or call 630-883-4577 to reserve your seat. Get ready for retirement with Jack Taboda and his team at Taboda & Associates, 630-883-4577. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Hey, our good friend Mike Lindell, you know, the MyPillow guy, has authorized us to make the best offer ever on radio or TV. We're not making this up. For a limited time, you can get a 2-pack of premium MyPillows for only $69.98. Dan, that's $34.99 a pillow. I did the math so you don't have to. Again, it's the lowest price ever offered in the history of MyPillow. This is epic. So if you've procrastinated and you don't own a MyPillow yet, now's the perfect time. And here's another good thing to know. There's also 30% off pet beds that you can wash and dry. You don't have to throw them in the garbage when they get dirty. The mattress toppers are amazing, but my favorite, the Giza cotton sheets. Oh. So act now to get this brand new, absolutely lowest price ever offered for 2 premium MyPillows for only $69.98. Go to MyPillow.com. Use promo code Amy or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201 or MyPillow.com. Either way, tell them Amy sent you.
If you own a business, you'll do everything you can to keep the lights on. The thing is, keeping those lights on can be much more cost-effective than you ever imagined, and Twin Supplies can help. Twin Supplies specializes in helping businesses, public entities, and nonprofits get energy efficient with their lighting and take advantage of incentives from utility companies to help with energy improvement costs. From restaurants to schools, churches, and stadiums, they'll walk you through every step to realize maximum money savings and energy efficiency. Your maintenance staff will spend less time changing bulbs with worry-free fixtures that feature up to a 10-year warranty. Plus, the quality of your lighting will improve, resulting in better and safer working conditions. Find out how much your commercial business or public sector facility can save with a free energy audit from Twin Supplies. Utility companies change their incentives frequently and funds can run out. Now is the time to take action. Don't wait. Call them directly at 708-609-0784 or log on to twinsupplies.net and take charge of your business's energy efficiency. Twinsupplies.net.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham can't figure out why the Democrats are so uncurious about the conduct of intel and law enforcement heads back in the Obama era. We'll discuss with Selena Zito at 8:08.
But first, let's head into the newsroom, catch up with news from here at home and around the world. Here is Mike Scott.
Severe storms strike the Chicago area and northwest Indiana. Man dies after a paddle boat flips over on a lake in Arlington Heights. The Illinois House votes to place a graduated income tax proposal on the 2020 ballot. Illinois confirming its first West Nile positive mosquitoes. These mosquitoes found in DuPage County. Astros hold off the Cubs. White Sox and Royals will play a game and a half today, and the Wolves on their way to the Calder Cup Finals. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
There's a lot of damage, but no deaths reported. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Scariest moment of my life, honestly. We're lucky. We're lucky to be here.
He's in Ohio after tornadoes ripped through late last night. One tore a path from Indiana into the Dayton area, damaging homes, ripping roofs off businesses and a school, taking down trees and power lines, many roads impassable.
The Montgomery County Sheriff's deputies were out all night long conducting rescues. Primarily what they were doing, you had power lines and trees down on houses. They were getting people out of their houses. What they're doing right now is secondary searches, making sure that you don't still have people who are trapped inside of the debris.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Harrison Township, one of at least a half dozen communities with devastation, only minor injuries reported. Flooding a big problem in other states, especially around the swollen Arkansas River. He had a knife in each hand. An attacker who caused mayhem at a school bus stop in Japan. Fox's Simon Owen live with details.
Dave, a group of girls were boarding the bus to travel to their Catholic elementary school in the city of Kawasaki when a man approached the bus stop, reportedly shouting, "I will kill you," then began stabbing children. The school headmaster saying 18 students were attacked. One of them, a sixth grader, is dead, while two parents were also knifed, and one of them has died as well. The headmaster calling the attack savage. The attacker was captured, but had cut himself and was pronounced dead at the hospital. Dave?
Simon, President Trump offered his condolences just before leaving, ending a 4-day trip to Japan, addressing troops on Memorial Day on the USS Wasp.
On behalf of all Americans, we thank you, we salute you, we honor you. We cherish you.
He's now flying back home after a refueling stop in Alaska. Iraq has sentenced 2 more French ISIS fighters to death. It's now 6 who've been condemned. France doesn't have the death penalty and says it'll do all it can to stop the 6 from being executed. This is Fox News.
Clouds and 67 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Cleanup is underway after severe storms struck Chicago and the surrounding suburbs on Memorial Day. Rain, hail, and high winds caused some major damage in the area. No injuries have been reported. A person is dead after being shot by Joliet police. Authorities say officers were called out early yesterday on a report of a domestic battery in progress on Justice Lake Drive. Police entered a home that was actually on fire, found an offender armed with a handgun and holding a hostage. Suspect shot at police before officers returned fire, killing the suspect. Authorities are investigating a deadly paddleboat accident in Arlington Heights. That boat flipped over yesterday, sending a 44-year-old man, another adult, and 2 young children into Lake Taramir. The Illinois House has put a graduated income tax proposal on the ballot in November of 2020. The House voted to approve the measure yesterday along party lines after a 3.5 hour debate. It's another sign that summer's finally here. The Illinois Department of Public Health has confirmed the first West Nile positive mosquitoes in the state. Officials in DuPage County collected mosquitoes that tested positive last week. Astros over the Cubs 6-5 in Houston. Sox will finish yesterday's game today, then play another at Guaranteed Rate Field. 8:03, it's time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Sal Giangrasso.
From the Fox Business Network, back to business, and 2 big buyouts are brewing. Meredith selling Sports Illustrated for $110 million to licensing company Authentic Brands Group with a twist. Wall Street Journal reports Meredith will print the magazine, manage the website, and run social media, video, and advertising. Authentic Brands will collaborate on digital and social strategy with an eye on turning the Sports Illustrated name into a licensing empire. And Fiat Chrysler is talking merger with France's Renault, and if completed, it'd create the world's 3rd biggest car maker after Toyota and Volkswagen Lincoln, eclipsing General Motors. Home Depot sees a growing sweet spot in tool rentals, saying 1 out of 4 professionals rent tools from it, compared to 1 in 10 a few years ago. And Home Depot executives say there's room for further growth. Markets closed Monday for Memorial Day. Dow futures flat. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Sal Giangrasso.
8:04 in Chicago. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder wants to know what's wrong with earning citizenship.
I want to just say something about the word that they use, merit. It is really a condescending word.
Merit is a condescending word. At least she didn't say it was racist. Approximately 12% of immigrants admitted are based upon employment and skills. 12%, 66% precisely are admitted based upon family connections.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Message and data rates may apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, this may be the last time you ever have to worry about hair loss. Because Bosley is the real deal. They're giving women and men their hair back permanently. Their real hair. All it takes to get started is a single text message. You'll get an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card when you text TRUST to 85850. Bosley will show you, for free, how great your hair could look. You'll also see, for free, why you're losing hair and how to get it back. Women and men all over the country trust Bosley because they're America's #1 hair restoration expert. Ahead of the curve with the latest technology. And the best part? Bosley has permanent solutions to hair loss. You'll love what they'll do for your hair. So drop what you're doing long enough to send a text. Get your free information kit and gift card for $250 off by texting TRUST to 85850. Don't forget, that's TRUST to 85850.
At Dell, we know running a small business takes hard work. As a thank you, for all of Small Business Month, we're offering up to 45% off select computers with Intel Core processors. Plus, get additional savings when you call a Dell Small Business Technology Advisor. Call 877-BUY-DELL today. That's 877-BUY-DELL. Additional savings valid May 6th through 30th at 8 a.m. Eastern on select computers from customer calls Dell. Excludes Dell Canvas, PowerEdge T30, and select order codes.
We've all read some surprising online reviews, whether scoping out a spot for vacation or trying to find the best happy hour. So why should finding software for your business be any different? With over 850,000 software reviews, make an informed decision with Capterra. Capterra is the leading free online resource to help you find the best business software. From applicant tracking to workflow software, read reviews in over 700 categories from users just like you. Join the 4 million people that use Capterra each month. Find the right software today with Capterra. That's CAPTERRA.com/radio.
8:07 and a check on the roads in the AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Kennedy inbound delays are from Harlem to the Burn Circle. It is 1 hour from O'Hare to downtown, 30 minutes from Montrose 29 in the Express. Outbound 59 minutes to the airport. Eden's 20 minutes, Lakehook to the junction. Outbound 32 on Eisenhower. 45 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 49. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 39 minutes. I 38 minutes, 95th to downtown. On the eastbound Adams Tollway, it's really heavy this morning, 25 to Barrington Road, past Lee to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway delays are 25 to Eola, Mill to Midwest, and 83 to the Eisenhower. Northbound Veterans Memorial, 159th, most of the way to 63rd, Maple to St. Charles. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Mostly cloudy today, shower and thunderstorm, high 65. Clouds tonight, shower and a thunderstorm, low 51. For tomorrow and Thursday, shower and a thunderstorm around, the high tomorrow 68. Thursday's high at 67. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
65 at O'Hare, 69 along the lakefront. Your next news update, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So President Trump last week had his Mark Anthony moment, and I'm not talking about the pop singer.
Yeah, I was going
Need
to say
to know.
J-Lo's ex-husband.
No, not talking
with the
about need to know.
twins. I
No.
hope they're doing well with the split.
No.
Their new
Tell
backup
me,
daddy.
Tell me,
A-Rod.
baby girl, because I need to know. Not that Mark Anthony, the one who uttered the phrase in the great soliloquy in Julius Caesar, cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war.
Well, they're kind of the same, just a little different.
President Trump cried havoc and let slip the dogs of war in the form of Attorney General Barr and his staff, like the Connecticut U.S. Attorney tapped to look at the 2016 election, at the conduct in that election of intel agencies. And that has drawn curious reaction. Well, not that curious. A curious reaction in terms of the uncuriousness of Democrats with respect to, hey, why not have an investigation? Let's see where it goes. Let the investigation play out, just as was said about the Mueller investigation and just as was agreed to with respect to the Mueller investigation by Lindsey Graham and many others. Lindsey Graham on with Chris Wallace on Sunday, addressing the uncurious Democrats.
I declassified everything they want. I put it under the auspices of the Attorney General. He's going to be in charge of it.
Senator, any problem with that?
No, not at all from my point of view. I was one of the Republicans insisting that Mueller be allowed to do his job. I never thought it was a witch hunt. The Mueller report is in. No collusion. Mueller didn't do anything on obstruction. Now I'm insisting that we get to the bottom of this. I want all the documents around the FISA warrant application released. I want to find out exactly how the counterintelligence operation began. I think transparency is good for the American people. Not one Democrat seems to care. I was the hero when I said, let's support Mueller. I wish some Democrat would come forward to find out if the FISA court was defrauded by the FBI and the Department of Justice. So I support Attorney General Barr to make this as transparent as possible.
And what does Graham say to the likes of John Brennan, who said of this move by the president, I see it as a very, very serious and outrageous move on the part of Mr. Trump, Graham said.
The people who are worried about this are worried about being exposed for taking the law in their own hands. It doesn't surprise me that the people we're looking at, they don't want transparency. We're not compromising national security here. We're trying to create a system to make sure this never happens again by shedding light on what happened with the FISA warrant process, the counterintelligence investigation. Did they have a lawful reason to surveil President Trump's campaign? Did they lie to the FISA court? Every American should want to find that out.
For more on these on-again, off-again, lower-order Democrats, we're pleased to be joined by Selena Zito, Washington Examiner reporter, New York Post columnist, CNN contributor, and her book, The Great Revolt Inside the Populist Coalition, Reshaping American Politics. And after the EU elections, it's not just American politics. Selena Zito, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
What about Lindsey Graham's point is why are Democrats so uncurious about look-see at 2016? Why so upset that Attorney General Barr would direct this U.S. attorney from Connecticut to just do a review of intel agency actions and decision-making the same way that you have the Inspector General for DOJ doing a review of FBI?
Well, I mean, Lindsey Graham has been consistent, much to the chagrin of those who want him to do what they want on their side on this issue, in that he believes that Mueller should finish the process, and he also believes that there is a need to investigate potential bureaucratic, systemic corruption within the intelligence agencies. I'm not saying there is corruption. I'm saying he wants to make sure there isn't, and he wants it to be a very transparent process. And I think that under that sort of ideal, that it's probably something that everyone in the country should want, because you don't want that much power in your intelligence bureaus in the country if that if that is what is occurring. That can be incredibly dangerous, again, if that is occurring.
Now, on Thursday, President Trump gave Attorney General William Barr the authority to declassify documents from multiple agencies regarding the surveillance of the Trump campaign in 2016. What do you think that's going to show?
Well, I mean, that's the great mystery, right? None of us know that. But I do think hints of people being sort of afraid of what it might show is shown by the amount of people, mostly Democrats, that have called for Barr to resign, and have called for Barr, as partisan. And so when people make those claims and they try to discredit someone, it's usually because they have something to hide. So while none of us know what it's going to uncover, might be nothing. We just don't know. It's a total mystery. But I think once we do find out, I think we will all have clarity as to what the state of intelligence bureaucracy is in our country.
Yeah, I mean, let the investigation play out. What's the harm? John Brennan, interestingly, too, this New York Times piece over the weekend, Trump targeting of intel agencies gains a harder edge. John Brennan appears to have burned a source with respect to this report, talking about the way Obama was briefed during his tenure at CIA and obviously Obama's tenure in the White House. The New York Times reporting that Brennan would bring reports from the source that was looking at Russia directly to the White House, keeping them out of the president's daily intelligence briefing because he was afraid it would be too widely disseminated. Instead, he would place the information in an envelope for Mr. Obama and a tiny circle of aides to read. John Cipher, former CIA official who led Russia operations for the agency, expressed concern that giving the president names of sources or agency officials who oversaw those informants could put those secrets at risk because they would invariably be more widely disseminated. So it looks like Brennan is sort of trying to put bodies between him and the decision-making and the activities that were going on at CIA during his tenure there and during the 2016 cycle.
I mean, does it shock anybody?
No, but it's worth noting. Yeah.
Yeah, no, right. I mean, yeah, it's important to note, and it's important to point that out because you won't see that kind of sort of logical conclusion within the major press because, Brennan is sort of part of the protective class. And so I think it's really important to document his behavior and what he's trying to do. In particular, if something is revealed that shows a coordinated attempt to discredit or whatever the outcome ends up being of the Trump campaign.
Well, I mean, look, CNN is still reeling from losing Michael Avenatti. I'd hate for them to lose John Brennan as a contributor.
No, he's at MSNBC.
Oh, yeah, I can't keep track. Is there a difference? Okay. Jim Clapper then maybe, or Jim Comey, or some of their other star-studded lineup. So, with respect to the president's approach, does the combination of the Democrats' penchant for investigations right to November 2020, plus now this concurrent look by Attorney General Barr, at least directed by AG Barr, this ensures that these related issues about what happened in 2016 on both sides will be part and parcel of the 2020 campaign? No, I mean, you've got debates among the Democrat socialists starting in a month.
Well, that's really fascinating. The debate starts already, even though it's not early. It still seems early. Well, then it seems like we are litigating 2020 since November 9th, 2016. I'm really interested to see during these debates what becomes the most impassioned, what rises to the top in terms of what is their biggest concerns. And that will give us great hints as to what this 2020 is going to be fought on. I personally think, based on the reporting outside of D.C., is that this is going to be very much like 2012 in that it's going to be on culture. And if it is on culture, I believe that the conservative, populist coalition shows up not only as much as it did in 2016, but also brings out more.
And I think the issue, too, of the climate change is going to be right up there, if not first, but second behind culture.
Yeah,
Part of
well,
culture.
and also that's sort of part of culture, right? Because, I did a piece 2 weeks ago for the for the New York Post, in which I went to Philadelphia and talked to African American leaders in Philadelphia, because they're an important voting bloc, not only for a Pennsylvania primary, if it's competitive, but also in a general election. And cultural issues such as pro-life, which African Americans tend to be much more pro-life than their other Democratic peers, but also climate change. Joanne Hall, who has been a leader in the African American movement within the Democratic Party since the 80s, said, look, people here, in particular African Americans, don't have the luxury of putting climate change ahead of putting food on the table. They don't have the luxury of being that progressive. If they have to choose between food on the table and a good job in the energy sector and or climate change, they're going to go with the job.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I mean, all this stuff, Elisa Finley writes about it in the Wall Street Journal over the weekend. The Mendelez making all of its wrappers recyclable by 25, and Goldman Sachs banishing paper cups, and Starbucks eliminating plastic straws. If the left thinks that's how they're going to rebuild the blue wall, then they've got another thing coming.
Right. You don't win on those issues because they don't impact pocketbooks. They don't impact people's lives. They don't make lives better. And so that's where you get another form of populism where voters just don't show up as a form of protest because you put forth a candidate that is very distant from their values.
Well, right. And isn't that what we saw happen in part the recently concluded EU parliamentary elections, where you had Macron got his head handed to him in France, and that this was preceded by a surprise result in Australia, which was largely about climate change policies.
That's exactly right. Look, here's the challenge for the Democrats. The people within the Democratic Party that have the loudest voice are white intellectuals. And their opinion is echoed by the press, which also tends to share white intellectual values because they all live in the same super zip code. What happens is they're very distant and disconnected from what regular middle-class suburban Democrats care about across the country. That's their challenge.
She is Selena Zito, Washington Examiner reporter, New York Post columnist, CNN contributor of the book. You got to pick up the book because it's as relevant in 2020 as it was in explaining 2016. The Great Revolt Inside the Populist Coalition Reshaping American Politics. Selena, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Want to keep your AC from conking out? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an AC tune-up, ASAP. It can help pinpoint potential problems and even extend the life of your air conditioning system. How's that for a comforting thought? Right now, get cool savings on an AC tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
So what are you doing Monday, June 24th? Want to play some golf with us at the Mistwood Golf Club in Romeoville? Presented by Clear Financial Strategies. That is where we're having our annual golf event this year. And proceeds will benefit the 100 clubs of Chicago, Lake, McHenry, DuPage, and Will counties. It's so important to help our first responders and their family members in case of a death. So come out, enjoy a great day of golf. It's a win-win because you're doing it for a good cause. Reserve your foursome today. If you have a twosome, that's fine. Call 312-363-6680. What's that number? Well, it's 312-363-6680. And if you own a business or you're a marketing manager, we have our Business Benefactor program. You purchase a foursome for $1,196, and we'll give you 25 60-second commercials that will run Monday through Friday. It's a $3,000 advertising value for just $1,196. And again, a portion of the proceeds will benefit the 100 clubs that provide financial and educational assistance, again, to families of the fallen first responders. 312-363-6680 or learn more at 560theanswer.com/golf.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. See website for full details.
Hey guys, good news. The expensive Little Blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And now get your first month's supply for just $5 at 4hims.com/Chris. Hims connects you with real doctors online who can prescribe the medication, and a pharmacy sends it right to your door. So easy. To get your first order for just $5, you need to go to 4hims.com/Chris. That's 4hims.com/Chris.
A balance of nature. Hey, why am I talking like that? I got a guy. I got a pill. I have 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies all in a single capsule because it's not easy to get the fruits and vegetables we need in our diet. So stop waiting and try Balance of Nature. Thousands of people, folks, are taking it, including me, and we're enjoying healthier, more active lifestyles. I don't have joint pain anymore, I can tell you that. And I know you've heard their stories here on the air. The testimonials are real. And the next story could be yours. Wow. So get healthy this summer with Balance of Nature. And right now, all new preferred customers will receive an additional 15% off and free shipping on your first Balance of Nature order. But you've got to call to get Balance of Nature. And the number is 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
Sheet metal is a big part of commercial and industrial facilities. Look around your business and you'll quickly notice how many components use sheet metal. From fan systems and hoods to machinery guards and much more. For top quality sheet metal work, get to know the pros at Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial sheet metal contractor that can fabricate all types of alloys up to 1-inch plate. We perform jobs including chutes, hoppers, stacks, siding, and dust collection. We work in material handling facilities including steel, chemical, agricultural, food processing plants, and more. Vans Industrial can also design and perform the engineering for a complete turnkey installation. Our quality work is installed by trained mechanics who will work closely with you to make sure the job is done right.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, how about time for a little Hollywood showdown? I'll put my John Voight up against your Jeff Daniels.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jeff Daniels, he's doing a reprisal of To Kill a Mockingbird on Broadway. He plays Atticus Finch. Yeah. I like Jeff Daniels as an actor, but, you know.
What did he do?
As a political commentator.
You might want to sit this one out.
Jeff Daniels on the prospects of a 2020 Trump re-election. You ready?
Uh-oh.
Here you go.
After the election, I was surprised at some of the people. You know, I said, can you believe this election? They go, yeah, isn't it great? And you're going, whoa. My wife's on Facebook, and these go, oh, we got another Trumper, you know? And it's just, you didn't see it coming. Atticus goes through this. I know these people. They're good people. And there are reasons why. And he's an apologist. He's an enabler. And I think there are people in the Midwest, between the coasts, who don't know anything about it, who don't care about this, who don't have time for this, who have to make a decision now. You have to decide whether, like Atticus, you believe that there is still compassion, decency, civility, respect for others.
Yeah.
Do unto others.
Those are the emblems of the left.
Do unto others.
Yeah.
All that stuff you guys believe in, and you still vote not for Hillary or for Trump. Where are you now? Because because your kids are looking up at you going, but he lies. And I think there are a lot of people in the Midwest who are going, it might be enough for them. We're going to find out if the big gamble is to go all the way to November 2020, which I agree, and lose, it's the end of democracy.
End of democracy.
There
Trump
you have
re-election. The apocalyptic in place of the substantive. That's right. That's perfect for the To Kill a Mockingbird music bed there, too. Here's the thing about Jeff Daniels. The tell is the people between the coasts. He talks about them like they're alien life forms.
Yeah.
It's a perfect tell for who the elites are on the coast. And Jeff Daniels, even though, he made most of his money opposite Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber, that's the tell. That's the tell. Now compare that to Jon Voight. Jon Voight, favorite Jon Voight role?
I know who his daughter is.
Angelina Jolie.
No, I was going to tell you that.
Why? Okay.
His favorite role is Dad. Oh, but he wasn't really around.
How about Midnight Cowboy?
Midnight Cowboy, that's good.
How about The Champ?
Oh, yeah.
How about
Schroeder.
How about Mickey? How about Mickey in Ray Donovan? He's great as he makes that show. Jon Voight took to Twitter this weekend to post a little message to Republicans and everybody else about Trump, and perhaps a little hyperbole too, but you be the judge.
People of the Republican Party, I know you will agree with me when I say our president has our utmost respect and our love. This job is not easy, for he's battling the left and their absurd words of destruction.
Like Jeff Daniels.
I've said this once and I'll say this again, that our nation has been built on the solid ground from our forefathers, and there is a moral code of duty that has been passed on from President Lincoln. I'm here today to acknowledge the truth, and I'm here today to tell you, my fellow Americans, that our country is stronger, safer, and with more jobs because our president has made his every move correct. Don't be fooled by the political left, because we are the people of this nation that is witnessing triumph. So let us stand with our president. Let us stand up for this truth, that President Trump is the greatest president since Abraham Lincoln. God bless America, and may God continue to guide this nation.
Boy, I tell you what, the Jon Voight in real life is so much different than the Jon Voight, particularly as Mickey and Ray Donovan. It's remarkable how good an actor he is, if nothing else. And there's a lot more to him than that. Interesting. So Jon Voight.
And President Trump heard that and liked the,
Oh, I'm sure he did like it.
I wrote, thanks, John. Spelled his name wrong, but who cares? Jon, John, who cares? But he loved it.
I'm sure he liked it. Jon Voight, greater than Jeff Daniels.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll continue our talk about POTUS politics, 2020 election with Ed Morsey from hotair.com at 8:38.
But first, let's head straight back into that newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
A little bit of sun breaking out right now, but don't expect that to stick around. Clouds are out for much of this day. And cleanup is underway this morning after tornadoes struck western and central Ohio. 5 million without power. The tornado damage centered on the city of Dayton. Witnesses say parts of Dayton look like a war zone. 7 people are being treated for injuries, although no deaths are reported at this time. Missouri National Guard is helping with flooding and severe storms and tornadoes there. Governor Mike Parson issuing the activation order yesterday. 2 victims are dead, more than a dozen hurt after a knife-wielding man went on a stabbing spree at a bus stop in Japan. It happened in the city of Kawasaki. Most of the victims were school children. Cleanup underway here after storms hit Chicago on Memorial Day. Rain, hail, and high winds. And between Dyer, Indiana and Sauk Village, the aftermath of a possible tornado.
Kind of calmed down, and our roof is across the street in my neighbor's yard.
That resident talked about the damage yesterday. Dyer Fire Department officials tell us at least 100 homes were damaged there. No one in custody following a deadly triple shooting on Chicago's northwest side. 2 men and a woman walking this morning on the 606 trail when And when three unknown males approached, one of the men died at the scene, the woman hospitalized in critical condition. Astros over the Cubs 6-5. White Sox and Royals will finish their game from yesterday this afternoon, then play a night game this evening. The news, a service of Accountemps. Demand for top talent is at an all-time high, but you can't afford to miss important deadlines. Whether you need help for a day, a week, or months, keep your work on track with highly skilled accounting and finance professionals from Accountemps, a Robert Half company. 8:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher wants the never-Trumpers to open their eyes.
They want to be relevant without realizing they would be 1,000 times more relevant, and yes, even popular, if they would recognize the incredible conservative accomplishments of the last 2.5 years and the extraordinary achievements of the Trump administration.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson. Spring is the perfect time to take notice of any paint issues. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters right away to take care of your home. Our front porch and back porches were chipping and peeling, just an eyesore. But CertaPro Painters swooped in and made a huge difference. They also painted a majority of our rooms in our house, the quality, service, and attention to detail like no other paint company. You know, spring is the season of change. Time to change your wall color or exterior and transform your home with an updated new look. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered with in-home color consultation or online with a color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting expert. Schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
A lost dog, not a lost cause. Read Catching Murphy, the latest book from the Associated Press, available now exclusively at Amazon.com.
8:37 in the AM 560 Traffic Center, the latest with Jim Talamonte.
Metro Union Pacific West Line trains are stopped near Villa Park due to a pedestrian incident. CTA Yellow Line trains are standing at Dempster Skokie due to police activity. Kennedy inbound an hour from O'Hare to downtown, 44 minutes from Montrose, 35 on the Express. Eisenhower, 48 minutes, 390 to downtown, 28 from Manheim. Stevenson is an hour, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 38 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, it's heavy, 120 to 137. Everett to Deerfield Road after the Toohey Toll to Irving Park. Northbound, 8094 to Holston. Cicero to 87th. 75th much of the way to Toohey Toll and Oakton to Dempster. The other tollways have delays too. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, and your official Chicagoland weather forecast comes from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Clouds for the most part today. Shower or thunderstorm could hang around, high 65. That's where we're at right now at O'Hare, 65. Next news at 9, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So Sarah Sanders deigned to go on Meet the Press with little Chucky Todd over the weekend, and Todd's panties were all in a bunch over Trump's delegation of materials to declassify to Attorney General Barr. He certainly was taking up the line of argumentation for his brothers in arms, Clapper and Comey, and of course Brennan, and so many others. And the question was, is the president preordaining the outcome of the Barr-directed investigation? Is he trying to wire it for a result that he wants, or is he willing to accept whatever Attorney General Barr and U.S. Attorney Durham and U.S. Attorney Huber and DOJ IG Horowitz come up with?
So the president is not going to accept exoneration if that's what Bill Barr finds?
Look, I'm not going to get ahead of what the final conclusion is, but we already know that there was a high level of corruption that was taking place. We've seen that in the IG investigation that's already happened, but there's a lot more there that we still need to know, and we're going to let the Attorney General do his job.
Well, it sounds like you're not. That's my point. It doesn't sound like you want him to do his job. It sounds like the president has already determined the outcome.
Chuck, that's the reason that he's granted the Attorney General the authority to declassify that information, to look at all the documents necessary, is so that we can get to the very bottom of what happened. Once again, we already know about some wrongdoing. The president's not wrong in that, but he wants to know everything that happened and how far and how wide it went. We know that there was corruption. Let's see.
Does he expect criminal charges? Does he expect, he's accused James Comey of treason. Does he expect Jim Comey to be arrested?
Again, we're going to let the Attorney General make that determination as he gets to the conclusion of this investigation.
So the president,
but we
he's
certainly
not going to
expect
accept
the people that were responsible and that were part of this unprecedented obstruction and corruption at the FBI. Those people should certainly be held responsible and be held accountable, and the president expects that to take place.
Yeah, and Chuck Todd very frustrated because he wanted Sarah Sanders to agree that the president will not necessarily accept the results of any Barr-directed investigation unless it turns up the results that he wants, which is not anything that she was saying. The president can have his opinion about what Jim Comey did or didn't do and about what level it rises to with respect to potential criminality. But the whole point is he can bloviate on Twitter all he wants. Attorney General Barr is going to direct this investigation, and you either believe that that will be done professionally and in pursuant to where the facts lead, or you don't. And, of course, Chuck Todd doesn't, because that's the position of the D.C. press corps, and so it's one he must prosecute no matter the evidence. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined again by our friend Ed Morrissey, senior editor for HotAir.com and columnist for the Week Ed. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
How did you receive the reactions from the D.C. press corps and from all of the potential targets in these concurrent investigations to Trump's decision to empower Barr with that declassification EO?
Well, I'm a little confused as to why this is, why people are leaping to the conclusion that this is going to produce a particular result other than just the declassification. Presidents have more or less a plenary authority to deal with classification and declassification, and that means that they can structure that process how they see fit. And the Attorney General is somebody who he runs a department that produces intelligence. So does the CIA. So does so do military intelligence agencies. The NSA, for instance, is a military intelligence agency. They're all producers of intelligence, and so anybody who sits at the top of those chains is well qualified to deal with intelligence matters. That includes the Attorney General. Now, it's a little unusual. Normally, you might, in the structure that we currently have, post 9/11, you might task that to the Director of National Intelligence, which would be Dan Coates in this particular case. But it isn't that unusual to say that the Attorney General in this particular case should do that, especially since the FBI seems to be at the center of this issue.
Well, do you think there's a possibility that the FBI was spying on the Trump campaign?
Were they spying on the Trump campaign? Well, if you're conducting surveillance by putting people in as embeds by misrepresenting themselves, I mean, that is a classic counter-espionage tactic. And counter-espionage is, by definition, spying. The question isn't whether they were being spied on. The question is whether it was sufficiently predicated. We have the FISA law in order to control that, in FISA's Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. And that was passed after it became clear that the FBI was doing an awful lot of domestic espionage work. And Congress passed the FISA law to limit and control that. And so you're supposed to have a sufficient predicate to know that somebody is operating, a U.S. person is operating as a foreign agent on U.S. soil in order to get a warrant to conduct that type of operation. And they did. They got a FISA warrant for Carter Page. The question is whether it was sufficiently predicated, whether or not the FBI misrepresented the information to the FISA court. So I think the question of whether there was spying going on, I think that is almost besides the point. The question is whether or not the FBI even had a good reason to conduct any sort of counter-espionage activity against members of the Trump campaign.
In addition to that, I mean, you got to be sort of gobsmacked by the indifference that Democrats have and their handmaids in the D.C. press corps to the conduct of CIA and FBI bosses. I mean, these are agencies there's normally a healthy level of skepticism associated with because of their power. And whether you think Comey and Brennan and Clapper perjured themselves or committed any other crimes or not, certainly their conduct is a legitimate source of inquiry. And also the question, how many more like them are at FBI and CIA where they're using their positions to advance a particular political worldview? And isn't that a problem? Because, hey, guess what? If your people are out of power, then they could be the next targets. What if Trump did with intelligence agencies and law enforcement what was done in 2016 against him and 2020 against your nominee? Would you take an interest then?
See, this is the point where I really am more mystified than anything else. This is clearly something that can be a problem. It can be a very the potential for a lot of abuse of power. And so even if you're inclined to think that nothing untoward happened, just the fact that the FBI took that step and then came up with nothing at the end of that, that should prompt a significant investigation. Because, again, if you get that FISA warrant, you are representing to that court that you're not going through normal law enforcement procedures because you're convinced that this person is a foreign agent acting in a hostile manner, and you can't use normal law enforcement procedures to deal with it. Because there's also law enforcement that you can use to deal with law enforcement laws to deal with espionage. I mean, you can just arrest somebody for espionage. It's a criminal act. This was not a law enforcement investigation, which has all sorts of different kinds of controls on it. It was a counterintelligence operation, which doesn't have those controls except for the FISA court. And the fact that they never had an indictment against Carter Page, and that Carter Page's activities never appear as any sort of element in any of the indictments that have been issued by the Department of Justice or the special counsel, that is a big, huge red flag that there's something that went wrong. And that requires, and it should require, everybody should agree on this, that we make sure that there wasn't any abuse of this process, any sort of politicization of this process, because if there was, and it comes out and nothing was done about it, that FISA law is going to get repealed eventually, and then the FBI is going to be left pretty much defenseless in dealing with counterintelligence operations or intelligence operations aimed against the United States inside the United States. It's a very dangerous thing.
So if the left is going to make 2020 about cultural shaming and conspiracy theories around Trump, you got to pretty much like his chances, don't you?
Well, I think you got to like his chances for a number of reasons, actually. I mean, the economy is very strong. The models for the economy point to normally would point to a fairly strong reelection. I think Donald Trump's negatives sort of weigh down on that. But you've got two columnists in the last 4 or 5 days at the New York Times that are sending up warning flags. This guy's going to get reelected. Steve Ratner, who is a former Treasury Secretary for Barack Obama, and Bret Stephens have both written columns at the New York Times in the last few days saying this guy's going to get reelected. And Ratner is talking about the economy, and Stephens is talking more about what you're talking about the left's inflexibility and their inability to connect to voters. I think that, I think you got to like the chances if this continues.
And Biden's not it. Well, he took 10 days off. He's returning valiantly to the campaign trail today. I don't know if you've heard.
Yeah, Joe Biden is running the sort of the missing man campaign. He's running the Fred Thompson campaign. Fred Thompson, God bless his soul.
That didn't work out very well.
He wanted to run that campaign. That they have made the intelligent calculation that the less people see of Joe Biden, the better off he's going to be.
Right, but with respect to Stephens and Ratner and the New York Times, the problem is they're being drowned out not just by fellow op-ed writers at the Washington Post and Salon.com who are hell-bent on impeachment, but by the rabble-rousers in Nancy Pelosi's caucus who are similarly hell-bent on impeachment, and that will continue to make the focus and, frankly, the central offering of the Democrats, this impeachment theater they're doing combined with banning plastic straws.
And again, I think that gets back to what Bret Stephens is writing about, is that the left is really kind of disconnected from the voters. They're listening to themselves. They're kind of immersed in their own bubble. And that's the reason. And it's not just in this country; it's around the world. Which is the point that Stephens was making, is that you have this right-wing populism that is surging because the left has become so inflexible and so disconnected that they feel that their own that people should just recognize their genius and vote for them rather than connect with people and find out what they're about. And I think that that's a very powerful trend, and it works in Donald Trump's favor.
Do you agree with me that the greatest threat right now to Trump's reelection is Trump's trade policy?
Well, normally I agree with you, Dan.
No, that's all right. You can disagree.
Like to agree with you.
That's all right.
But
go ahead.
I think that's one threat. I suspect that that's going to get resolved because everybody wants to make money, and I think that that's going to be reasons. I really honestly still think that the biggest threat to Donald Trump's reelection is Donald Trump's mouth. Mm-hmm. And I think it was the biggest threat to his election in 2016. It has to do with the fact that he's not a very likable person. And it's sort of like a Biden situation. The more people hear from Donald Trump, the more they find things that will irritate or alienate themselves from him. His policies are working very well. The economy's great. And I think when he focuses on that and talks about that, that's where he's best off. But I don't think the trade policy is going to be as big of a problem unless Trump really just doesn't want to solve it. And I think that's really up to him.
All right. Ed Morrissey, senior editor for HotAir.com, columnist for the week, making his final appearance on Morning Answer because he disagreed with me. No, I'm kidding. Kidding, Ed.
It's been a great run, though. It's been a great run.
Yeah.
Ed, thanks for joining us as always. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Take care.
Enjoyed our time with you.
Yeah, right.
He joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 580. The Answer. Perfect time to get your fireplace and chimney up to speed for the coming year. The Fireplace and Chimney Authority is the Midwest's largest fireplace and chimney company and offering specials on cleanings, inspections, and chimney repair. Call them today, 630-279-8500, and receive $40 off your next chimney cleaning and inspection, or $100 off masonry repairs over $750. Use discount code AM560 to claim this limited time offer. In business and veteran owned since 1992, let the Fireplace and Chimney Authority be your one-stop shop for all fireplace and chimney needs. Call today, 630-279-8500, or stop by into one of their beautiful showrooms in Lisle or Elmhurst to see Chicagoland's largest selection of fireplaces, gas logs, fire pits, outdoor kitchens, and grills. Call them today.